they've been able to get these deals done. You know, the sky was falling when the Bucs win the Super Bowl and they're able to re-sign all their guys back. The sky is falling. They're able once again to re-sign all their guys. The sky is falling with Levante David and Jamel Dean supposedly going somewhere else, and they re-sign them. So I think this is where you have faith in Jason Light and Mike Greenberg and Jacqueline Davidson over there, because they know what they're doing. And Bucs fans just sit back, relax, put your seatbelt on because the rumors will be flying about Mike Evans supposedly going to those places that I mentioned in Kansas City, Houston, even the Chicago Bears. But at the end of the day, my prediction right now, it is a lock. Baker Mayfield will come back. Mike Evans will come back. Antoine Winfield will come back. Tristan Wirfs will come back. Levante David will come back. This organization and the administration knows what the hell they're doing. Just sit back and relax. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television on a happy
Hump Day
edition of the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake. How do we start off this show as we always do here on a Monday, Wednesday, or anytime there's breaking news? Anytime I feel like it here. You know them, you love them, you got to have them. So here it is. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, we'll have the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, from our Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions and Amped Up Sports. At 9:30, we're expecting Best of the Bay himself, Mr. Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, live from Ferg's, as they are having an end-of-the-year teacher, I guess it would be get-together, if you will. A salute to all the teachers out there because it is the end of the school year there, as Mark Ferguson told us about that on Saturday afternoon, so he'll be live from there. And then about 10:20, 10:30, we will have the return of Turnbuckle Talk. Is plenty to get into in the professional wrestling world where you have MJF returning to AEW. You had that pay-per-view just passed. You had WWE and King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring. You had Sexy Red come out to NXT last night. Yes, the hip-hop world, the hip-hop heads out there. Gotta love that. So many things going on right now, but as always, we always talk about what else. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Tampa Bay Rays update the score right now. Oakland and the Rays tied up 2-2. Thank God they actually scored some runs tonight, right, Rays fans? Pretty bad game last night, so we'll see what they could do tonight. Brandon Lau with the triple to get the first run in, and Jonathan Aranda just a couple innings ago gets an RBI single, so we're tied at 2. Randy Arozarena just about 10 minutes ago tries to steal home plate, but gets tagged out at home. So that's what you do. You got to create those type of plays to score runs, as right now this team is having lots of difficulty when it comes to scoring runs. And Oakland, one of the worst teams in all of Major League Baseball. So not necessarily the best thing. We'll see how that goes. We're up to date. We'll update you on that situation as it follows. And of course, the other news of the day, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers signed their third-round pick, Jalen McMillan, out of Washington. So there are two others that are unsigned at this point, Graham Barton, and of course, the second-round pick out of Alabama. So those right now are the only unsigned picks. Rays get a hit there with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. That would be Mr. Palacios himself. So once again, I'm watching the game. I'm trying to talk about Bucs news. There was also some news that came out today from Jenna Lane about how the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have not talked about a contract extension. According to Lane, sources close to the situation said that talks on an extension have not started. Also, according to Jenna, the Bucs will want to see how he performs in Liam Cohen's offense, moving to the inside where Godwin saw a heavy amount of production and Bruce Arians offense. So, again, what do you think about that? Are the Bucs going about it in the right way? 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. So we could definitely talk about that. Some sound out there from Todd Bowles. We may get into that. Jamel Dean had some things to say. Tom Brady had some things to say, of course, being the number one analyst now on Fox Sports. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get this guy on. Here we go. From a Coach Scott and now media member of Night Sports Productions, Amped Up Sports, and we got something planned on Father's Day that you're going to love. Stay tuned for more details on that. Mr. Leo Haggerty, welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. How are you doing tonight, my friend? And we got no sound. No sound. No sound. I got no sound. Yeah, no sound. we got no sound. Yeah, no sound. I got no sound. I can't hear you. So we're gonna have to, come back in. Yeah, come back in. Go out. You know, that happens sometimes. Let's go out to the comments as we always do here. I gotta love that. You love that, right? I mean, this is what the sports web is all about. You know, getting guests on, having a strong intro, if you will, having a strong monologue, and then getting Leo on and no sound at all. Gotta love it. Got to love it. All right, first go, Bucs. Evening, guys. What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
Oh, yeah.
I got to play this because he's not here tonight. Maybe he'll join us with the phone call. I believe that he will join us with the phone call after I play this.
Let's go!
There you go. You got to love that. Oh, here are all the comments. Where did all the comments go? What is StreamYard doing right now? Playing with my comments. I know that you guys want to comment on the show. I know that you want to talk Bucs football. I know you want to talk about the Tampa Bay Rays. What is the sports web exactly if you're your first time tuning in? It's a TV show. It's a radio show with phone calls and interaction. We call this the evolution of sports talk television. So let's go ahead. See, Mike says never had a weed brownie. I don't know why you're saying that. Ben says Leo said he's doing good. He wants you to eat your veggies. Peter H. Blake, I do eat veggies sometimes. I eat spinach and green beans. Okay, those are my two go-tos. Everything else, not so much. Ben, thanks a lot for tuning in all the way from Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to KR. So, Peter, what do you think of the Wirfs? Wirfs in his contract, I'm not surprised, but I hope he can play and they get the deal done ASAP. We'll get into that in just a little bit. Christopher Cole says, hey, what's going on, Christopher? Tim Haynes, good evening, Peter. Good evening to you, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
Always like Bucs fans to tune in.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Let's see again. 2-2 Rays and A's. 2 outs and man on second. Yandy Diaz at the plate. So we'll see what happens there. Let's see. Heard good things about KJ Brett making splash plays. Absolutely. In OTAs. Is YT going crazy? YouTube going crazy? Don't think so. LFG.
Let's go!
And let's go out to Mike. Outback Steakhouse is a killer veggie medley. I'm glad you mentioned that because we just had that. We just had Outback Steakhouse. We're going to go ahead and play his intro again. Here we go. I got to play it. All right, let's try this again. Former Coach Scott and now media member of Night Sports Productions, Amped Up Sports, Mr. Leo Haggerty. How you doing tonight, my friend? Wow. No. Oh, you're just messing with me.
Oh,
well, thank you very much.
That was low-hanging fruit. But, Peter, let's not keep him in suspense. Tell him what's happening Father's Day. We're going to go to Belmar Saloon for a little bit of a roundtable.
Yeah, we're going to go to Belmar Saloon on Father's Day. Of course, you're going to have yours truly hosting the event with all the equipment, the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, the great Roy Cummings, and Mr. Sage of Tampa Bay himself, who's made appearances on this show before, Mr. Ira Kaufman. And we're just going to sit down and give something back to the fathers out there because the mothers have all the fun. They get all the candy and the roses and the free breakfast, if you will, at McDonald's or anywhere else. And we're going to give you something here on the Sports Web, along with Amped Up Sports, with all those men talking sports, talking Bucs, talking Rays. And who knows, maybe some fatherly advice. I'm not a father at this point, but I know these men are. So we'll go ahead and talk about that also.
Yeah, and we got Ryan Neal joining us from Amped Up Sports as well. So we're going to have a plethora, as well,
love it,
of people there. And I want to thank my daughter, Kate, and her husband, Daniel, for providing the remote at Belmar Saloon. So if you want to come out and join us, get there at 11 o'clock because we're going to start shooting. And, hey, we got a hard out at noon, right, Peter?
Hard out at noon, of course. We'll get off of there and we'll get hooked in and we'll get on by 10 or 10:30 and we'll have a great show. And then we'll get out there by noon and let you guys enjoy your Father's Day. Yes, we'll definitely be eating. Absolutely. Chuck, thank you very much for the 200 stars. As Chuck Anderson tuning in here. Facebook stars are available. Of course, also YouTube Super Chats. Go ahead and send that out there. So let's start off with this news today. First and foremost, Jalen McMillan signs a contract. Now you've got Graham Barton. And I'm trying to think of the other guy, the second-round pick, Chris Braswell. Chris Braswell are the only remaining players unsigned by the Bucs. So your thoughts on McMillan? It certainly seems like there's a lot of excitement in that building. Getting him from Washington just a couple years ago, a guy that was the go-to guy from Michael Penix, if you will, before the injury, right?
Oh, God. Hey, he was the – again, if you go back to the Texas game, McMillan's the one that caught that BB that Penix threw on that skinny post between two Texas safeties, and he hit him between the 1 and the 1, which was amazing.
Yes.
But I tell you what, I like the draft picks. I like the way the Bucs are moving in that direction. And again, I really think this division is going to be a lot harder than people think. It's not going to be, Carolina's going to be better.
Okay.
They're not going to be great. They're going to be better. But Atlanta's going to be really much better. And so are the Saints, because now they've got all these teams have new offensive coordinators. That's amazing. Isn't it, Peter? The entire division.
Yeah, it is. And I got to give you an update here. It looks like we got a double race coming around here, and he's tagged. Who is getting tagged out there? Looks like Yandy Diaz getting tagged out. So the Rays up 3-2 there, but dead at the plate. So again, we'll keep you up to date on this. Top of the 8th, Rays up over the Oakland A's 3-2. We'll also talk baseball on this show here and there. The other news of the day, according to Jenna Lane of ESPN, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have not started contract negotiations with Chris Godwin. Sources close to the situation said that talks on an extension have not started. And according to Lane, who is a personal close friend, we started out radio together a long time ago, the Bucs will want to see how he performs in Liam Cohen's offense, moving back to the inside, where Godwin saw a heavy amount of production in Bruce Arians' offense. Now, my question out there to Bucs fans, is this the right move by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to not start contract negotiations? Do you have any concern with this team letting him go, letting him test free agency, or once again, you just trust in light and let this all play out? What do you say, Leo?
After what you just did with Mike Evans, I think if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's under contract. I would, if I were the Bucs, I would let him know, hey, look, we are interested. We're just not going to bother you during the season, and we'll take care of this when the season's over with. But yeah, I think that's the main reason they brought McMillan in, was just in case, Godwin is going to decide to leave for greener pastures.
What do you make of this Tristan Wirfs situation? Because KR was asking about it. He asked me. I think it'll eventually get worked out. But again, it comes down to numbers. We talked about it. To me, if he's not the best young starting left tackle, he is one of the best and will be the best left young tackle. So, of course, you're going to have to pay guys like that. What do you make of this situation? Again, any cause for concern if you're a Bucs fan right now? Any cause for concern about this organization? Because I feel like they have all the leverage at the end of the day. If they don't get something done, they can always franchise them. What do you make of the worst situation?
Well, you never want to franchise or transition a player because that just makes them angry.
Right.
And, the problem they got, Peter, is when they got Wirfs, you and I immediately said, this guy's the best tackle in the draft. I don't know why he dropped to 4, the 4th tackle. And that was a steal.
Right.
And right now, Peter, he's the best multi-side tackle in the NFL. He can play right side, he can play left side. No drop off either way. Again, when he came out of college, when he jumped out of the pool, that showed me amazing athleticism. He was a high school state champion wrestler. That shows me mobility and agility. And you know what? I want a guy who's agile, mobile, hostile, and that was him. And now it's going to cost the Bucs money because to keep him, it's going to cost. And maybe right now they're not in a position to negotiate with either one of them from a financial standpoint. So, let's see what happens. I think something will get done with both of them because you don't want these two guys to walk. No way.
No way. I don't think any one of them walks. If there's anybody they move on from, and I don't think they will, but let's just say theoretically they decided to do that with Chris Godwin because they drafted McMillan, they drafted Trey Palmer the last couple of years, but you don't know what you're getting with those kids because they're just kids. They're unproven rookies at the end of the day. And Godwin, for all his faults, because there's a lot of fans out there who don't necessarily like him because he doesn't have the same explosive nature he had after the injury. He's still getting 1,000 receiving yards. It's his 3rd consecutive 1,000-yard receiving season. And furthermore, he had, 83 catches. So he's still productive in this offense. The thing that's down is the 2 touchdowns. But the problem is that he was playing out of position last year. And now you're putting him back in position where he thrived in the slot. And then once again, you go back to it with Cooper Kupp and, his ability to perform in that Rams offense under Liam Cohen. I feel the same way could happen here with Godwin. What do you say?
Gus Kattengill down at the ESPN New Orleans asked me, how much of a difference is the Bucs offense going to be under Liam Cohen? I said, watch what the Rams do. It is smoke and mirrors till they snap the ball. There is so much shifting and movement that the defense, they are going to do more movement than anything else. And the worst thing you want to do as a defensive player is have to move before the ball snapped.
Yeah.
Because once the ball snapped, now you got to play the coverage that's been called. And if they start shifting and moving, that coverage could change. That pass rush could change. And now you got to work about communication. And if you're the home team, it's going to be loud. So that's the biggest problem. If you're the visiting team, hey, don't worry about it. They're going to be quiet because they want the offense to work. But when you look at what's happening with the Buccaneers, they are going to become more adept at pre-snap movement. And again, now if you bring Godwin back into the slot, that Z screen, which he ran like a trick play under Bruce Arians, now it becomes a viable option. Just to throw it out there to him, boom, and say, hey, go get 10 yards, which he does.
This to update the score right now. Base hit to left field. Arozarena throws at the plate. He's way off. Guy is out by a mile at second. Throw home. Guy, and now it's tied. So here's what happened. The ball gets hit to Arozarena. I don't know if you're watching this. Arozarena airmails the throw, but it gets caught off by the catcher. Catcher throws to second with the runner being dead, and then Lau throws home and is late. So now it is tied 3-3, Rays versus the A's. Quiz afterwards. Got all that update. Ben says, I believe in Chris Godwin. Hope he gets utilized this year. Agree. And again, you go back to it. 2 touchdowns. You got to figure out how to feature both of those wide receivers, because we saw that in Dave Canales' offense last year where both were shut out in that first half. You're definitely going to have to scheme, and I think that's the reason why this offense is going to be that much better. KR says, any news about Godwin and his contract? You think it's possible for a trade candidate? No, I do not. KR, any news on Junior Caminero getting promoted from AAA to the roster? Have not heard anything about that, but listen, if this offense continues to struggle with the parties that are in this lineup, you would think, Leo, shifting gears to baseball, and we'll go back to football in just a moment, that eventually they're going to promote Junior Caminero as a top prospect to help basically a lineup right now that can't put it together, can't score, at the what they're scoring an average of 2 runs a game. That's just not going to get it done. You have to pitch lights out. And this Rays team, pitching-wise, hasn't been able to do that. So what do you think about Junior Caminero coming up here pretty soon?
Well, they're going to have to bring somebody up because you can't keep trying to win games 2-1, 3-2.
Right.
It puts so much of a strain on your pitching staff, especially when you don't have a number 1 and number 2.
Yeah.
They're trying to get by with a number 3, 2 number 3 starters and a number 4 starter.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen. And, this is the one year that the Rays is going to bite the bullet, try to win with defense, try to win with, timely hitting in that, and hope these pitchers get healthy for next year. Because if they can get everybody healthy back, that's the key. I'm just concerned right now, Peter, that they're kind of in the doldrums with batting. And I was hoping that day off on Monday would help, but man, it made it worse.
Yeah, that's not worked out, and the A's are not a great team when it comes down to it. 8-game losing streak on the road. Somebody mentioned it. What do? You play the Rays, and that's exactly what has happened. What about the OTA situation with Tristan? He's skipping OTAs. And the question was out there with fans, are you concerned by that with them? I'm not concerned by it, but I know there's a lot of fans that are, kind of concerned about it. It's just OTAs at the end of the day. It's just a voluntary thing. You don't necessarily have to show up. Gary says both will get done in next year's offseason. Can't do everyone in one season. Exactly right, Gary. Good comment. And because of the increase every year in that salary cap, you certainly think it's possible. And then on top of it, the organization's willingness to sign their own players, which they've been able to take care of their own players. Antoine Winfield Jr. Comes to mind because he deserved it. Baker Mayfield played well. They took care of him. Mike Evans played well. They took care of him. So they have a propensity, Leo word, of taking care of their own players. So if Chris Godwin balls out like I think he could and become the comeback player of the year and be, a catalyst for this offense in this passing game, you're definitely going to pay him top dollar. Tristan Wirfs has already earned that contract, and they'll figure that out because he has performed unbelievably. And you look at his Pro Football Focus grades, him, Luke Gedeke, the 2 top tackles in the league, being very young, pass blocking grade, not only pass blocking but also run blocking improved. So I feel like you're going to take care of Tristan Wirfs eventually. That's how I say it. That's how I look at it at the end of the day. Let's go out to Mike here. Rays hangover. So if you want to talk about the Rays, we could definitely do that right now. Rays are tied with the A's 3-3, top of or bottom of the 8th here. Rays up at bat. Let's go out to Jamel Dean, who was asked about the situation with Carlton Davis being traded to the Lions. Were you surprised by that? Because Carlton Davis, we know what he can do. We know the potential that he has. When he's healthy, he's able to shut down not only your top wide receiver, but also make plays, get interceptions. But first and foremost, were you surprised that the Bucs shipped a Carlton Davis to the Lions for a 3rd-round pick?
No, because Peter, when you look at what's happening,
Yeah, we can't hear you. I can't hear you. Yeah, we can't hear you. You gotta call back. You gotta call in. I don't know what's going on. Your sound on your phone again. So we'll go ahead and get you. Yeah, it's your yeah, I don't know what it is. Yeah, just come back in and we'll try to get you back on. I don't know what's going on tonight. I mean, it's 2 times now we've had that done. So that kind of stinks because he had something that we want to go into and definitely talk about. But let's go out to Jamel Dean, who was asked by it. He said, it caught me off guard because I wasn't even aware of all the stuff that was going on until I got a phone call. And I looked on the news and stuff, and it said Carlton got traded. I was like, what? And he said, oh, okay. Then that's like random. And they always say it's business, though. It's kind of different feeling knowing that I'm playing football without him for the X amount of years, and then seeing him not here is kind of different. Now my buddy ain't here no more. And my buddy wasn't here, and now he's back. Let's see if we can make this work. Leo, what's up?
I can tell you what's happening. Somebody's trying to call in, and when that calls in, it cuts the sound out.
Who is trying to call the legend Leo Haggerty on the evolution of sports talk television? Don't they know that you're giving all the vital information to the web heads out there? Don't they know this? Who's trying to call you at this point?
I'm not going to throw Trace under the bus, but
Trace, what are you doing to me here, buddy?
This guy sucks.
All right, so go back to Carlton Davis. You were talking about that. You're ready to get into a big-time statement. How surprised were you that they shipped Davis to the Lions?
not at all, Peter, because you better have between 8 to 10 defensive backs to get through a season. And again, they've got some people on the roster that they may feel by watching film is going to do the same job Carlton Davis does. And that's something you always got to keep moving on when it's time to move on. The one thing, you may not like the New England Patriots.
Right.
They had a great feel for when it was time to walk away from their players. It was usually a year early, but it was never a year late. And that's something that it's really a gift for a general manager in that to realize that, hey, it's time to move on. And we need to do that. And again, I asked Rich McKay right before he got let go by the Bucs. I said, there's going to be a time when, 47, 55, and 99, you're going to have to tell them.
Sure.
Their services are no longer warranted by the Buccaneers. And he looked at me dead in the eye and said, I hope I'm not here for that to happen. And he was right. He wasn't here.
He wasn't here. He wasn't there. And he didn't want any part of it. And I get that. And, you're so loyal to players. And a lot of fans would say, move on from Evans. But Evans is still playing at a prime position. They will know, this organization will know when it's time to turn the page on Evans. This is not the year. Next year may not be the year. And eventually, father time is undefeated unless you're like Tom Brady. And even then, you still found him retiring at that point where his skills were not what it used to be. On the phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Also, Dean had this to say, we could be great, man. We could be great. I feel like if we brought that emotion that we had the first couple years, I was here. Now Zion, he stepped up last year, and you could see him coming into this organized team activities, OTAs. He's matured. He's starting to get like a vet mentality now. I guess he's starting to connect with the next man up. The standard is still the same. He also says, I enjoy getting to know everybody for the most part. Everybody is willing to learn, and most of them are calm guys that are not afraid to ask questions. They want to be the best of themselves with this defense. They know that it comes with a lot. I appreciate them being determined to actually work hard during voluntary workouts. Your thoughts on those comments, and then we'll get more from Dean here on what he needs to do to improve his game. But you got to like the fact that you have a bunch of young guys that are first and foremost trying to ask questions So they're trying to improve their craft. You being a teacher, you love when a student is asking questions. If you're not asking questions, then basically you're okay with being what you are at that end of the day. Tell you what. Let's go out to the phone lines here as I'm going to connect to one of our favorite web heads. Let's go out to Curtis. Curtis, welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with the legend himself, Leo Haggerty.
Leo, how you doing, brother?
I'm hanging in there, Curtis. How about you?
Man, you know what? I had eye surgery yesterday, brother, and you know what? Yesterday was a really rough day for me, but I woke up this morning. I felt great. So
eye surgery. So what's that for? Go ahead and tell us about. Tell the web heads out there what that's all about.
So a couple years ago, I was really blind.
Okay.
Actually, a couple years ago, I had retina detachment in both eyes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and they reattached the retinas, and some of the vision came back. And I've been legally blind ever since. But I mean, God does everything for a reason.
God is good.
And,
yes.
And just made me a better person, a better dad, better everything. And strangely enough, I see things more clear now.
Well, good for you, my friend. Congratulations. Yeah. God bless you. And I'm glad that you can see me, although, I'm not necessarily, the best on somebody's eyes. People have said I break cameras and stuff like that, but I'm glad you're here.
That sounds like a Harry comment.
Well,
really
I had to put it out there because Harry probably would say that. So I'm just making up for it.
But no,
what do you say, Leo?
Harry would say you got a face for radio.
A face for radio, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what he would say. But I'm glad you could see the salt and pepper Peter, as they call me. Somebody calls me in the business. Welcome to the Evolution.
You're always gonna be bling bling Blake to me.
Bling Blake, right there. There you go. Love it.
But
yes,
dude. You know what? I've been watching the little videos on the Bucs and stuff, and this team has. I don't want to jinx it. I really don't, because you know how some of us are. But this team has a little swagger. This team has a little swagger to it.
Yeah.
And I think we have a nice mixture of, we have a young team, but we have a nice mixture of young guys and veterans on this team.
Right.
So, I mean, it's good to have a Levante David on your team. But even you look at guys like Vita. This is Vita's like 5th or 6th year?
It's crazy. It's crazy to think that what was he drafted in 2018 and now it's 24. Was it 6th year? And he's lost weight. He's cut weight.
Yep. And he's a freaking monster. This guy is honestly, I don't think that Vita gets the credit that he deserves. And it doesn't show up in tackles and sacks and anything else, but what he does impacts the players around us.
Right. So,
this team has the potential to do good things. I mean, I like to go as far as great things, but for me, it's always about injuries. You know what I'm saying? Can we stay healthy? You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And stuff like that. Because I feel like we have the team to go out there and to play. And as much as it hurt me to my heart, I was a huge Devin White fan.
Right.
But he wasn't the guy he was the first 2 years he was on this team.
No, he wasn't. And we got a story on him from Bleacher Report, which you'll get a kick out of here in just a little bit about Mr. Devin White.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was cautious about the whole Baker Mayfield thing.
Sure.
And if you really go back, and I think Leo said it last year, and I specifically remember Leo saying, the best thing about Baker is also the worst thing. He's got a huge chip on his shoulder, and he doesn't care. He's going to go out there and he's going to play football. And honestly, how could you not love a guy that just wants to go out there and be there for the team?
I love that. I think that's important. And I think it's important. And what was so important in this offseason for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to do, and Harry mentioned this, Leo mentioned this, is to protect Baker. And how you do that is you improve that offensive line. As Alexander in the background completely agrees, as he's barking continuously about that. That's what you got to do to improve your team. You improve it within the lines. You improve it on the offensive line, the defensive line, right?
And you add a little weapon here or there. I mean, you're always going to have your Chris Godwin and your Mike Evans and Rashard Weiss, but Cade Otton I think Cade Otton has been better than most people give him credit for.
I think you're right about that, and I think you could be in for a big year from his comments. He wants to be a Pro Bowler, and he also wants to prove in one of the facets in his game that a lot of Bucs fans have been critical of, and that's blocking. So, Leo, your thoughts on what Curtis is saying?
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, and I have been preaching this for years. It looks like we are going to get rid of the OTAs next year.
Wow.
Because the NFLPA is finally listening to Leo. And I keep saying, why do you bother with OTAs and minicamp and then sit for 6 weeks? It's the only sport in the world. What they're trying to do now is extend training camp to probably bring guys in, 5, 7, 10 days early, get rid of the OTAs, get rid of the mini camps, or cut them down significantly. No more voluntary workouts. Everything's going to be on contract. So maybe you'll have like a 3-day mini camp, and then you'll start training camp probably like the 10th to 15th of July, because Peter and Curtis, eventually they're going to get away from preseason. Colleges don't have it. And the reason I say that is look what they're doing with these group practices where they get together with the Dolphins, they get together with the Titans, they get together with Jacksonville. That's what you're going to see. You're going to see preseason go away, and you're going to see teams be allowed to have 2 scheduled workouts with another franchise, because that's all you need. Because if you're gonna cut it down, if you're gonna go 18 games and then 2 preseason, they're not gonna play in the last game anyway. So it's really down to 1.
My God! I got to interrupt you. You've got to see this catch by Jose Siri. Deep drive to left center. It looks like it's going to be a home run. Siri times it perfectly. He does his best. Kevin Kiermaier steals a home run, saves the game for the Rays there in the top of the 9th, still tied at 3. In fact, the hitter just busted put his helmet down, threw it on the ground because he thought it had a home run. You've got to see this play. It is amazing. And you're exactly right. When it comes to, I know you're a Red Sox fan.
No. I was going to say that catch 9 times out of 10 is going to be all over SportsCenter tonight.
Well, it should be definitely all over SportsCenter tonight. And going back to Leo's point, when it comes to preseason, you look at what Roger Goodell said the last couple months here, how he wants to, have 2 preseason games, 18 more games. He wants to extend the season, especially Super Bowl week to President's Day. So I definitely think you're correct on that. Going back to you, Leo, and then we'll come out to you, Curtis, and then we'll finish off, and you can use that second call. Yes.
I definitely agree with you.
Okay.
I mean, I think preseason is a waste of time. I really do.
Wow.
I am a person that believes in evolution.
Wow, there you go. That's why you tuned into the show.
Yeah, and and I also believe that, a lot of the NFL, the evolution of the NFL is, the NFL draft is huge right now.
Right.
The draft used to be bigger back in the day, because back in the day, you draft a quarterback in number 1 overall, you did whatever you could for this guy to be successful or whatever. But my point is, I think the preseason is nothing but a showcase.
Well,
it's nothing but a showcase.
It is. And going back to you, Leo, here, what is the impact of not having preseason? What's the impact of OTAs? Does that harm a team? Does that hurt a team? Does it hurt a team, especially with a new coaching staff? Those OTAs, does it mean that much? Does preseason mean that much? Or no, it doesn't mean anything at all?
Peter, I'm going back and look at college. Colleges don't have a preseason. They go out and they have a camp.
Yeah.
And that's it. Preseason used to mean something back 20, 25, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Because players had to get jobs in the off season to make ends meet. Now, you got guys in shape 12 months a year. They're getting paid enough money that, hey, they don't need a second job. They can go off and they can spend whatever they need to do to get in shape. They come into camp in shape. Back 20, 25, 30 years ago, people came into camp to get into shape. And that's
of course.
now it's just a matter of you got to get your body back acclimated to hitting because the human body doesn't want to do that. So you got to stand there in that mirror and say, okay, we're gonna start hitting again. It's football season. So that's something you got to understand.
Yeah.
That why would you do OTAs? Why would you do mini camp and then take 5 weeks off? You need to make everything. There has to be some continuity. And right now, there's no continuity.
Leo, you are 100% correct because it's crazy. I'm not a LeBron fan, but the one thing I pay attention to is LeBron has always taken care of his body. He's taken a great prepare to keep his body in shape.
Correct.
Same thing with Tom Brady. Same thing when Michael Jordan was getting beat down by the Pistons in the late 80s, early 90s. He started getting his body in shape. He was taking more pride in, his body and stuff like that. And, I do remember some of these guys back in the day, you'd be like, man, I remember, growing up in Nebraska, we used to watch a lot of Green Bay games. And I think it was Big Gilbert Brown. That dude was huge.
Yep.
I'm like, man, do you see this guy? He's huge.
The grave digger. Curtis, we're going to let you go. Use that second call, my friend. Please, if you would, for Turnbuckle Talk. Thanks a lot for the call, as always, and congratulations on your new eye surgery, my friend. All right?
Yep, thank you, brother.
All right, brother. There you go. Curtis there from Newport Richie. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Rays fans, if you're watching this broadcast, let me give you an update. Bottom of the ninth, Ahmed Rosario with a leadoff double. By the way, base hit to right field. He's hustling the whole time. Gets to second, then a bunt that is put down. A bunt by the Rays. They're pulling out all the stops tonight. And they do a great job there with Jackson. I think he was hitting like 0-27. Gets that done. Gets the man to third. And who's up to bat right now? If this is not a Hollywood ending or a Rays ending for you guys, I don't know what is. The man that saved the game there, Jose Siri, with maybe the play of the year with how he skied over the fence there, caught the ball with 2 outs, saved the game there because it could have been 4-3. Rays were looking at it, and now he has a chance to win this game up at bat. So we'll keep you abreast of that situation. Gary even saw the play. He said, great play. It was a great play, and I want to see Siri here end it. Let's see if he does. All right, curveball, and it is outside, so ball one. Well, yeah, I know. We're getting into it. We're trying to do the broadcast here. Bleacher Report had this article, and they said the most overrated linebacker is none other than Devin White. They say things took a turn for the worst in 2021. Despite garnering his lone Pro Bowl nod, White's production dipped across the board. His Pro Football Focus grade, which was already awful during the first 2 seasons, fell to an abysmal 36.2 that season. The downfall eventually fell through for White for his Tampa, and their relationship between he and the team turned sour before his departure, as he was even benched for the first time in his career a season ago. White missed plenty of key tackles, gives up big plays as often as he makes them. Was even benched for the first time in his career at the tail end of last season. According to the Tampa Bay Times insider Rick Stroud, White reportedly rubbed coaches and teammates the wrong way with his attitude. Your thoughts, because This is not surprising to me, although now this report by Stroud that the coaches and the players he rubbed the wrong way. He rubbed a lot of players the wrong way, and consequently, the only thing he did was rub players because there were so many broken tackles by opposing players. Drive by Siri to left. Rays win right there. How about that? Your Tampa Bay Rays. So, I mean, what is better for Jose Siri? Because he's been through it all year long. Base hit to left, scores the runner right there. Ahmad Rosario, who hustled. He's got the bubble gum a cape, or what is it? I don't know what the hell it is. I guess it's a bucket on his head. Rays win that game 4-3. But going back to it, Devin White in that story there, most overrated linebacker in the National Football League, goes to Philadelphia for $4.5 million. And then the report that he rubbed players, the locker room, the coaches. What do you say to this?
Talk about somebody, Peter, when he's gone. He was rubbing you the wrong way. Why didn't you say something while he was there?
Yeah.
Why didn't you say something to him? So you know what? I think that, again, I don't even know if I would print that if I was a journalist, because I look at that and go, this is, the horse has left the barn. Why do I bother with this? If he rubbed coaches the wrong way, if he rubbed players the wrong way, he's gone.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Why be concerned? This is a waste of time. For if I'm a journalist, it's a waste of time. He's not with the team anymore. Why do I bother dealing with this?
Yeah, but again, you rub people the wrong way. The only thing he rubbed, again, was the players that he missed tackles of. I mean, I don't see him making an impact for the Eagles, although he may.
I do. Here's why. They play a 4-3.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the 3-4 did not suit him well.
Okay.
It didn't suit him well. That was just he needs to be in a situation where he can roam a little bit. And in the 3-4, you're pretty much frozen as that inside linebacker. And let's be honest, when we talk about the Bucs linebackers, their Achilles heel is coverage. They're just not good cover people. They're good downhill linebackers. They're not good cover people. And Peter, I hate to call in the left-hander, but it's getting to that point where I'm running out of juice here. So I'm going to have to get off. I was hoping Ray Kennedy would call in and kind of, bail me out here.
Well, we're trying to get him on the line here. He doesn't have the link, so I'm trying to send that to him right now as we speak, as Facebook is doing what they always do here. But Leo, thanks a lot for your time. Go ahead and promote yourself here on the Evolution.
Yeah, go to Amped Up Sports. We also now have a YouTube channel.
Yes, I saw that, my friend. That's great. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, we're trying to get a sit-down with Coach Amir out at USF. We're going to try to get to that sometime in June.
Right.
I'm going to be heading out on my Magical Mystery Tour the end of June. I'm going to be going to New Jersey to the Giants-Jets camp, then out to Seattle for the Seahawks, and then back to Massachusetts for the Patriots. So there'll be some pictures coming up there, maybe some interviews with players. So we may have a pretty good time with that, Peter.
You may definitely have a great time with that, and the future is bright here for Amped Up Sports and, of course, the evolution of sports talk television, all right?
Hey, have a good one, guys.
Will do. All right, so up-to-date, give you an up-to-date. The Rays beat the Oakland A's 4-3. Jose Siri with the honor. Not only a great play there in left center field where he times it out perfectly, he jumps up, and the ball's going over the fence. I'm sorry, that's a home run. The A's lead 4-3, and he saves the game. Because at this point, the way the Rays have tried to score runs and the inability to do that, and their pitching and everything else, and the bullpen, he saved the game for this team. And then, of course, Ahmad Rosario, if you didn't hear, leadoff double, looks like a single, hustles to second base. Alex Jackson with a sacrifice bunt on the third base side. And then who else? Jose Siri with, again, the honors, base hit to left field with nobody there because they were playing in for it. And like I said, the Rays win there at 4-3 over the Oakland A's, as I am trying to produce right now, and it's not necessarily working out in my favor. And I don't know why it's not working out, but we'll figure this out. Again, let's go back out. A great play there by Gary Eddings. Yes, by Siri, absolutely. Christopher O'Reilly, excuse me. Did you discuss Godwin yet? We have discussed that. You guys can call in if you want to talk about that. What do you think the Bucs? How do you think the Bucs are handling this situation? Are you concerned about this report by Jenna Lane of ESPN that there have been no negotiations between the team and Godwin, according to sources? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Carl says, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Christopher Cole, KR, it won't be anytime soon because Junior is out 4 to 6 weeks with an injury. Now, this is the first time I've heard this, but let me go ahead and look this up to see if Christopher Cole is right about this. Junior Caminero could be out. Let's see here. I did not see that. Oh, excuse me. He is dealing with a grade 2 strain. Rays manager said Caminero, who was placed on the 7-day injured list at AAA Durham earlier Wednesday, is expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks with a grade 2 left quadriceps strain, according to Mark Topkins. So thank you very much for that, Christopher. You're absolutely correct, and you will not see anybody coming in at this point, especially if they're dealing with that type of injury. So at the end of the day, that's disappointing. But right now, the Rays have to do what they have to do with the players they have tonight, and Jose Siri being the hero of the day, not only with a great defensive play, which I've been critical. A lot of Rays fans have been critical of this young man's play from last year. Defensively, lackadaisical to a certain degree at some points during the season. And then not only that, trying to swing for the fences, but he took what the pitcher gave him, and he delivered in the clutch for the Rays to beat the Oakland A's, as we await for Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, as I don't know what is going on right now with Facebook. So we're trying to send that link to him. I'm just going to tell him to call in because we cannot get him on the video at this point. And if he doesn't want to call in, then we'll just take your phone call. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. I want to play this soundbite here from Sarah Walsh of NFL Network talking about Baker's reaction to Graham Barton and what he's brought to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television.
Well, Baldy, you brought up Graham Barton, and when I just mentioned his name to Baker today, this wasn't just trying to be PC. Baker's eyes lit up when I said, how's it been working with Graham? His eyes lit up. He said, he is a stud. He is built for this. And I said, well, he's a rookie. How do you know that this rookie is different from other rookies? And he said, because he sees quick bursts out of this guy. He said that he can be really fast and cover a lot of ground. He said he leverages his blocks. And Cohen said basically the same thing, his size, his ability to do things. They are really fired up. This is not just, saying what they should say about this guy and trying to build up his confidence. They are, I could see it in both of their faces when I asked about Barton. They are really excited to have this guy and hope and believe that he is part of that puzzle piece to get that ground game going.
All right, so there you go. That was Sarah Walsh with her report for NFL Network. So once again, Baker excited, calling Graham Barton a stud at this point. So let's go ahead and see if we can get Mr. Tampa Bay Ray on here, if this will work. I don't know why it's not working, but we're going to go ahead and make it work like this. Let me see if we can get him on video. Hold on a sec. I am posting it to your wall if I can, and this thing is not letting me do it. So we'll go ahead and work with that. We'll try to produce while we're on air, as Facebook is not being able to cooperate at the end of the day. So we want to definitely hear from Tampa Bay Ray as he is down at Ferg's there live in downtown St. Pete. So what do you think? This Devin White story is interesting, right? I mean, for me, we all knew that he's missing tackles. He missed key tackles in general. He's also giving up big plays, as a lot of Bucs fans were shaking their head last year, have shook their head throughout his career where it comes to coverage busts, where it comes to a linebacker that seems like he's always out of place or he over pursues. But the thing that I think a lot of people should focus on here, and, you know, I know what Leo's saying, you don't print that report because he's gone. Well, the reason why you don't print the report when he's here is you don't want to have, disruption, but, that's a reporter's job. But Stroud goes on to say White reportedly rubbed coaches and teammates the wrong way with his attitude. And I'll tell you right now, I think that definitely played a big time part of White's declining play, especially this year or last year, if you will. Because it started with the trade request. That didn't work out. He didn't get what he wanted. He wasn't paid top dollar. We heard the rumors that he wanted to get $18 to $20 million. When he was not able to get that, then he was asking for a trade. And it was that type of disruption, if you will, to not only the locker room, but the coaches. But to me, the coaches could have taken him out if they wanted to. If he was that much of a big disruption to the locker room and to this team, you most likely could have taken him out. And really, Todd Bowles has himself to blame for that. I get it. He could be your most talented player when it comes to a linebacker besides Levante David. But we know Levante David was the best linebacker on this team, period. And you look at when White was replaced by KJ Britt and how better off the defense was. And again, maybe not as athletically gifted as White, but he was in the right place at the right time. He knew where he was supposed to be. He wasn't bad in coverage. The defense improved because he was making consistent tackles, which he didn't see from White all year long. That's huge, especially if, your whole staple is to stop the run. And you're not able to stop the run because your middle linebacker doesn't care or doesn't have, just doesn't have the attitude to go out there and stick somebody. His play declined the last 2 years. I think, again, the most interesting part of this report from Rick Stroud of the Tampa Bay Times is that White reportedly rubbed coaches and teammates the wrong way with his attitude. That's what it's all about. It's all about attitude, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, you can have all the athleticism you want. You can have the Super Bowl, which we know that White was a big part of when it came to this defense. You can blitz and get after the quarterback from sideline to sideline. You can be so athletically gifted, but if your attitude is basically, I want to leave town, I don't want to be a part of this, I don't want to give 100%, it shows. It showed last year over and over again, whether he was hurt or not, more than anything else. And I had people that told me, watching him on tape, it was not about the injury. It was about effort, and it was not being at the right place at the right time. Always being out of position. That's effort. So this report doesn't really surprise me, but I think it's definitely interesting, to say the least. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. So we could definitely talk about that report. Of course, the story about Devin White being the most overrated linebacker in the league. Chris Godwin and negotiations there have not started. Are you concerned by that? Are the Bucs handling that in the correct manner? You could talk about Jamel Dean. In fact, I'll tell you what, let's go out I want to go out to this really quick. I want to hear from Todd Bowles on what he thinks about Jamel Dean. We'll see if we can get Tampa Bay Ray on, because I know he wanted to come on here, and I definitely want to get him on. So let's go ahead and see if we can have some video, which is not popping up right now. So hold on a sec. Stand by as I am trying to produce on air here. This is not necessarily working out, so hold on a sec. Here we go. There we go. Let's go out to Todd Bowles on what he thinks about KJ Britt here on the evolution of sports talk television. Here we go, as it will upload here. And again, the phone lines are open if you want to talk anything about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers tonight. on the Chris Godwin situation, on Devin White, on anything else. How many wins? That's still out there. The Tristan Wirfs situation, that is also still out there to talk about, or anything else that's on your mind. Once again, Bucs signed third-round pick Jalen McMillan to a contract. So let's go ahead and get out to this press conference here as we await Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy live there from Ferg's on the evolution of sports talk television. So I am just not going to wait for this anymore. I'm going to go with this instead because this seems like it's better. There we go.
Where there would be no spring on-field workouts, but in turn, training camps could start as early as June. Is that a good thing or a bad thing from your perspective?
I don't have one right now because the rules haven't changed. There's a lot of things brought up every year. Until they change the ruling on them, you monitor them and you kind of go from there. So right now I don't have a comment on it.
What about the Guardian hats? Wearing in the training camp, and then now players have the option to be able to wear them in season during games?
I mean, it's good to have the option to wear them, especially guys that get a lot of concussions. Again, we'll monitor that and we'll see which guys we need to have them on and which guys we don't.
What are the biggest things that you're looking for? You talked to day one OTAs, now you've had a few more practices. Just what are those things that are differences between the start and how you progress through this process?
Well, the MEs have gone down. We have a lot of guys that haven't been in this kind of heat before coming in here. So getting in shape and learning the install and concentrating on that and focusing on your job. I think the MEs have gone down quite a bit. They need to go down a little bit more, but that's the thing we're focusing on as coaches.
Coach, can you talk about a couple of plays there? Sabache drops an interception, comes back with a remarkable one. Just his progress. They get catches.
He sees them, he makes the plays, they throw at his feet, he drops the ones they throw at his hands. So he's got to do a better job of catching the layups and not trying to have the slam dunk competition plays and just do the easy layups and do the fundamentals right, but he's doing well.
For KJ, different, he played last year, obviously, but I think there was some alternating going on at the end of the year with Devin. Is he a three-down linebacker? Is just his job sort of to keep it loose? Or what would be his situation if that's what he's done?
Obviously, he can play all three downs, but we have so many packages and guys to move around. It's a little early to determine who will be on what. And 1 week he could be, 1 week he may not be, depending on who we're playing and what we have available. So, but he's ready to play all three downs. I love his maturity. He's grasping the mental part of the game and becoming the leader of that defense along with Levante and Wynn and Vita, and we're kind of happy where he's progressing right now.
What is he in terms of his kind of improving his coverage skills?
It was never his coverage skills with him. It was always his eyes. His eyes, he's gotten a lot calmer. He's settled down. He knows what's going on, and he understands where he needs to be on the field. I think he's doing a lot better at that.
Ted, you guys have been blessed to have kind of 2 3-down linebackers with you, Devin, one before that. How much more complicated is it to not have 2 on the field at all times like you had?
It's not complicated. Again, we have so many packages that we may have only one. We could have 2 or 3 out there at one time. But the complication part is pretty easy. Our thing right now is just to get the fundamentals down so everybody can play 3 downs if they have to.
For someone like Joey Mount, who really started to come into his own last year,
Obviously, the biggest thing for Cody, you look for more strength. Obviously, coming in out of college last year, and he's worked on that in the offseason. He looks bigger. He's always been smart. He's always been tough. And I think the game has slowed down for him quite a bit. Just look for him to take the next step mentally.
What was the message to Jamel entering this offseason after last year that was, up and down, mostly due to all the
He's got to stay healthy, number one. That's the biggest thing. When he's healthy and he's on the field, he's a great asset for us. And to go from good to great, you first got to be healthy. And his message for camp is to master the defense and not worry about the offense. If he understands where his help is, he'll have a heck of a year.
What have you noticed so far from Jalen McMillan now that you've had a chance to see him not only in the but also?
Very competitive, extremely smart, very heady football player, which was what we thought going in. Really can't wait to get the pads on him, get him acclimated, and see him play in the summer.
Tom, in terms of competition for Devin on kickoff returns, flashes of something that you'd like to see more than the fall?
I don't think anybody showed me flashes in 4 days. They're just catching punts right now. It won't come really until training camp right now. So everybody's back there catching punts. Hell, I can compete right now because I can catch them if you kick them to me. So we'll wait for the summer and see how that develops.
Coach, as a former player yourself,
back when I played, some guys were playing without helmets hitting people. So I don't know if that would have existed. Maybe I would have thought about it back then. Kill or be killed.
Much different.
Oh, it's a lot different. You got to adapt and adjust in the game. You want the guys to be safer, so I understand it.
What do you like about competitive so far, Stuart?
He's tough. He comes off the ball. He's an excellent run blocker. You can't really see the pass block until the pads come on right now, but he's tough. He shows up every day. He really gets off the ball. He's been a pleasant surprise.
What do you see from Baker now that, he's gone from competing for a job last year to this being his team? He's here for long term. He can kind of take ownership of the offense even more. What do you see from him out here?
It's the same Baker. It's just him and Liam getting on the same page. Him and Thad getting on the same page, embracing the offense that's getting installed and checking to the right plays. The drive and the vigor is always there, but the maturity of how he's handling the situation right now, learning the new offense, has been great. It's getting better. Thank you. Yeah.
Day to day, or
It's getting better day to day and week to week. Thanks.
All right, so there you go. That was Todd Bowles just the other day talking about various things when it comes to Jamel Dean, catching the ball, when it comes to KJ Britt. And I want to go back to those KJ Britt comments, as again, phone lines are open if you want to talk about the Bucs, the Chris Godwin situation, Tristan Wirfs situation, the comments there by Rick Stroud, or the report saying that, Devin White from Bleacher Report, not only the most overrated linebacker in the league in their opinion, but also from Stroud that he rubbed coaches and players the wrong way. But this is what, again, he had to say about KJ Britt. It was never his coverage skills. It was always his eyes. His eyes have gotten a lot calmer. He's settled down. He knows what's going on. He understands where he needs to be on the field. I think he's doing a lot better at that. Exactly. It's not always about, athleticism. It's about being at the right place in the right time. It's about knowing your assignment, right? We always talk about it. Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots, what made them so great is doing their job, doing your job. And that's what Britt was able to do. And that's what it looks like he's going to be able to do here going forward, because he's going to get every opportunity to be the starting middle linebacker of this team. What do you say about that, guys? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Want to go out to this story here from Pro Football Focus, saying that the Bucs may have unveiled their ranking of the top offensive tackles. They may have two of the best tackles in the game. In fact, talking about Tristan Wirfs and, of course, Luke Haggerty, who, if you remember, the year before played at left guard and was terrible. And then you move him to his natural position of right tackle, and he's able to be very successful. I'm not saying he didn't give up some sacks last year, have some pressures, because, of course, we know that's false. But overall, if you look at his grades from Pro Football Focus, which we do here on this show, it was somewhat impressive for a guy, making you start a right. I guess you could go with Tristan Wirfs, being a starting right tackle there and look at it that way. But yeah, not bad at all. Not bad at all from this article. And let's go ahead and go out to it, as they say that Wirfs was ranked as the second best offensive tackle in the entire NFL at 25 years old. So that's the reason why he's going to get paid the big time money at the end of the day, right? He's going to get paid. Make no mistake about it. Don't worry. Be happy. I said it. The Bucs are going to get Tristan Wirfs re-signed. And if it's not this year, then it'll definitely be in the next offseason. But I have faith here that they'll get Tristan Wirfs done here soon. I do. There's a reason for that, because of the question I asked Jason Light about, having the boat parade. Again, I want to have that boat parade. Not a boat person, but I want to see the Bucs have that boat parade with Jason Light on it. Who knows? Maybe the sports web will be on it. We'll see what we can do when it comes to motion sickness and everything like that, because I'm not really good with that. But I'll definitely fight it. I'll definitely go out there if there's a boat parade and try to put on a live show. But that's why I think it's going to get done, because of what Jason Light has preached, right? Taking care of your own guys. This is a guy you have to take care of when it comes down to it. He deserves it. That's why, all this nonsense, and I threw it out there today. Bucs fans, are you concerned? I see a lot of Bucs fans that are concerned about Chris Godwin moving on. It's his last year. It may be. But again, if he's highly productive in his natural position of slot and he shows out, you're going to be forced to sign. You're going to have to sign him. You're going to have to take care of him. Can the Bucs do that? I definitely think if you rule this team out from not doing it, that you haven't been looking at their history for the last, 3 to 5 years of what they've done with their own players, or when players deserve it, they get that deal done. And I think he could, Godwin is going to have a comeback player of the year. They said it throughout camp. He looks healthier. He looks faster. He looks lighter. That's a good thing. And still, with all that being said about Godwin, we'll get back to Wirfs in a moment. 3 consecutive 1,000-yard receiving seasons. 83 catches. It's not like this guy's a bum. He's still productive. People look at the touchdowns again. The 2 touchdowns, a little bit low. You got to involve him more in this offense. Liam Cohen is not going to have that transition like Dave Canales had, where you're going to have to learn how to make play calls. That hurt this team last year, and they were improved over the year before. How much better are they going to be this year? How much better are you going to be with Chris Godwin in his natural position of slot? How much better is Godwin going to be at an offense that featured a Cooper Kupp? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Also, the return of Turnbuckle Talk tonight, as we'll be getting into wrestling action with the bodyguard of the Berg, Mr. Ralph Williams, coming in. As I thought we were going to have Mr. Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. But, it is what it is. We do what we do here. He was supposed to be live from Berg's. He was supposed to be giving me the rundown. It would have been a great time here at Tampa Bay Ray to call in or chime in, especially after that big-time Rays victory over the Oakland A's. But I guess either his battery's not charged or he just fell asleep at the wheel. I don't know. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. So, yeah, I would not worry, because I know you webheads out there want to know what I think. I would not worry that if Chris Godwin is productive as I think he can be this year in this new offense, or I shouldn't say a new offense, because it's kind of like the similar offense to Canales, except the play caller has experience in the NFL, so you won't have that transition process. It may be some new terminology, but I expect Godwin to really ball out this year for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And if he does, expect a contract extension. He is that important. It's not only his catching ability, but also his blocking. He's physical at the point of attack. And I understand why the Bucs put him on the outside in the first place, to alleviate that injury situation. That's what they did. All right, so let's go back to the Tristan Wirfs stuff. And according to Pro Football Focus, the Buccaneers' decision to move Wirfs from right to left tackle before the 2023 season raised questions about whether his performance would decline. However, Wirfs recorded the second highest passing blocking grade among all offensive tackles and finished with a top 5 overall grade for the first time in his career, 83.0.
Oh, yeah.
That's impressive. That's exactly what you need when it comes to a tackle. That's what you need. That's what the Bucs got. That's the reason why you're going to pay him as one of the highest paid tackles in the game, because of that. Furthermore, they said Haggerty with a 70, the Central Michigan product put together a really impressive season as he ranked 8th in a pass blocking grade of 72.5. He was not bad last year. He had his moments. Again, he probably will still have his moments, but I'm excited. I don't know about you, about the future of left tackle and right tackle for this team going forward from what I saw last year. And I feel like the interior of the line is going to be that much better with Graham Barton coming in. Who's going to be your left guard? That's the main time question. That's the big time question. Is it Hansey? Is it Brederson? Is it Opeta? Who is it? That's the battle that I think a lot of Bucs fans will definitely need to watch. But this offensive line, Cody Mock coming into his own, putting on 15 pounds, now at 320. You hear that the game is slowing down. I mean, that's the reason why you draft him in the second round in the first place. You get a second round right guard. He went through, his troubles last year. He went through being ineffective. He went through some troubles as a rookie, a rookie wall, right? Every rookie goes through that. He's that much better for it because he got those reps last year. And I went on record with talking about this team. The most exciting thing I'm looking forward to in 2024, this offensive line. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. So 72.5. Haggerty wasn't just good in pass protection, though. He proved to be really solid in the run game as well, finishing the season as one of the 7 right tackles in the league to earn a 70.0 pass blocking grade and run blocking grade. Impressive. Absolutely. Look at this. Look who decided to show up, because YouTube has been absolutely dead tonight. I mean, it's been absolutely dead besides KR. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I tell you what, let's go out to this man because he's on vacation. Obviously, he's asleep at the wheel. Let's go out to the tribal troll here.
Acknowledge me.
Let's go out to Mr. Roger Shue there, live from Disney World. What's going on, boss? How you doing tonight? Welcome to the Evolution.
Brother. I am at the All-Star Sports Resort, live in the living color in Walt Disney World.
Well,
checking in with the greatest
wow. Well, thank
evolution
you,
of sports talk television.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Was wondering where you're at. I hope that you got the notification. We were expecting Best of the Bay, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy to come aboard. He was saying that he's live at Ferg's after a big-time Rays victory over the Oakland A's, 4-3 tonight with Jose Siri, possibly the best play you're going to see in a long time, with the left center field stab of saving a home run to keep the Rays into that game and, of course, keep the score tied, and then winning in the bottom of the ninth with the base hit to left. So what's going on, buddy? How's the vacation so far?
Ray probably can't even stand up right now.
Well, I'm hoping that he at least he's tuning in or calls in here eventually, because we were expecting something from him, and he's not come on tonight. So I'm disappointed in him.
Come on, Ray.
Especially with me promoting the show as I did, with getting people ready for the Best of the Bay, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy to come on, and he's not coming on. So what's on your mind, Roger?
Nothing, man. Just call them and say, hey, see how the Sports Lab's doing, all the web heads.
Well, we're getting ready to shift gears here to Turnbuckle Talk because we're getting ready to do that, and we'll talk Bucs and Rays and whatever else.
Dynamite was off the hook tonight.
Really? What happened on Dynamite tonight?
You can discuss that with Mr. Mancini.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, Mancini's not going to be on with us tonight, by the way.
So just you?
No, it's actually going to be, we are going with the return of the bodyguard of the Berg, Mr. Ralph Williams.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to come back out to him in just a little bit here. We're going to talk about WWE, AEW action. Lots of things that happen this weekend with MJF and his return there. Yeah, it's Sexy Red coming out last night for all the kids out there. NXT, she did some things, so we'll definitely talk about that and some great stuff. Of course, you got a new King of the Ring, which would be King Gunther, and Queen of the Ring
How
for
about-
WWE, Nia Jax. Nia Jax.
How about Jordan Grace and Ethan Page showing up in NXT?
Yep, Ethan Page attacking Trick Williams. Whip that trick. He said he wanted to whip him, gave him a knee in the corner there. Surprising everybody. Ethan Page from AEW now and NXT. And absolutely right. Jordan Grace.
Well, I'm sure that you've heard Mark Henry is no longer with AEW.
I heard that. His contract is up. Yes.
Yes. And the other one that is now gone from AEW is your favorite and mine, Mr. Jake Hager.
Wow. So he may be
let his
headed back.
contract expire.
And I heard there could be some free agents that Triple H would pursue here as we're going to shift gears here in just a little bit. But not only a Ricky Starks could be a free agent, could be picked up by WWE because he's friends with
If
Cody
they don't
Rhodes.
grab Ricky Starks, they are out of their freaking minds.
Well, they probably will. And then you also have, of course, Hook, whose contract is also coming up, and Britt Baker, whose contract is coming up. So WWE.
Britt Baker's going nowhere because her husband, Adam Cole, is still in the company.
Well, doesn't matter.
Hook is not going anywhere because of his dad. Taz,
Okay.
a human submission machine.
Okay. All right. We'll see. We'll definitely see here. Roger.
The one you have to keep an eye on is Becky Lynch, Rebecca Quinn.
Yep. Well,
her contract is up June 1st, and she told everyone she's taking a hiatus from WWE. And she told all of her friends and family that she's not going to debut for AEW imminently.
Okay. All right. So we'll see what happens.
So that plants that seed.
Lots of moving and shaking going on when it comes to the professional wrestling world, and of course the Bucs and the Rays. I got to ask you really quick, because you're a Chicago Bear homer. What did you think about Caleb Williams and his early struggles? What are you hearing about that?
It was one bad day.
One bad day. That's it.
That was it.
That was it. Because I've heard some other
Tom
things
Brady's
to
had
that.
a bad day.
Well, I get that, but it's Caleb Williams. You're expecting a lot out of him, and again, I'm going to tell you that you should have some realistic expectations, because he may not come in right away and do what you think he's going to be able to do. Does that make sense?
It was a bad day.
Okay. All right. Sorry,
So
Roger.
he had a bad day.
All right. I don't need you to sing to me. That's about it for you. So I'm done with you, man. Use that second call if you want to. All right. I appreciate you as always.
All right, bro.
All right.
I will see you on Monday.
Acknowledge me.
I thought you were coming back to work on Thursday or Friday. You're coming back Monday?
No, I leave here. I am leaving here Friday morning.
Friday morning. So there you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, he's taking a vacation. I haven't taken one in at least 13 to 14 years. And my friend right there.
Yeah, that's your fault.
Yeah, it is. All right,
I
Roger.
invited you to come with me. You said no.
Well, I couldn't. I got to pay bills, my friend. Appreciate the time as always.
Stop.
Woo!
I got to pay bills. Great stuff, Roger. Appreciate the call. Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let me go out to this guy right here.
Damn it, Jim, what the hell's the matter with you?
Let's go out to Jim. What's the report of Godwin? Again, to recap, according to Jenna Lane, sources close to this situation, the Bucs have not started any contract negotiations for re-signing. Of course, Godwin coming up on his free agency deal. He'll be a free agent next year, big time cap number. So, and of course, from this report from Jenna, she says that the Bucs want to wait it out and see what he does in this new offense under Liam Cohen. So, my question to Bucs fans out there right now, are the Bucs handling this correctly? Let's go out to Reina here. Let's go. And that is the report. So there you go. Open phone lines if you want to talk about the Bucs situation. Big time Rays victory tonight. You gotta love that. I know they're 2 games under 500. I know that they've had their struggles, but what a hell of a win tonight. Jose Siri, the player of the game, the hero of the night. With you've got to watch the replay of this. One of the best defensive plays you've seen in a long time, a la Kevin Kiermaier taking a home run away from the Oakland A's batter, and then of course, when you make a defensive play, what do you do at bat? Because he struggled in both facets of his game. Base hit to left for the winning run there, scoring Ahmed Rosario after leading off with a double. Then a bunt by Alex Jackson to get him the third, and Siri doing the honors. So if you want to talk about that, we can. We'll get out to Ralph here in about 4 minutes. Let's go out to Ed. Ed, welcome to the Evolution tonight here on a happy hump day edition. What's on your mind, boss?
Dude, I am so sick. Can somebody just get rid of the New York baseball team? Just get rid of them. Because every day I have to go to work and I have to listen to this guy that's from New York about how his team is in first place.
Well, they're pretty impressive.
They're
pretty impressive, man. The Yankees are absolutely impressive right now. They are killing it. So
it's driving me crazy.
Yeah, driving you crazy, huh? Why is it driving you? Why is it driving you crazy? Because you hate New York fans, right? Is that what it comes down to?
Well, why would I like them exactly?
Well, that's true. That's very true.
You know, give me
another reason why a lot of Tampa Bay fans in general, but especially baseball fans, when you're Rays fans, you hate Yankee fans because they brag to you. And they always start off with, we got 27 championships. All right, well, you've been around longer. That's what you say to that. But you're exactly right. The respect, the excellence of their history. But sometimes it is tough to, hear a Yankee fan talk all that nonsense, talk all about this. But right now, the Yankees, all their fans right now are going crazy because this team has played out of their mind. In fact, they're the talk of baseball right now. They really are.
Yeah, it's driving me crazy. I wish the Rays
sorry,
would
man.
Get their act
I'm
together.
so sorry.
I really wish they would get their act together. So no Tristan Wirfs contract yet.
No,
okay.
You're concerned about that?
No, I think they'll get it done.
Yeah.
I think they'll get it done. They're going to have to take their time a little bit. They're going to have to probably, mess with a few people's contracts.
Well, of course, that's what they do. And then, the whole Chris Godwin thing coming out today, a lot of Bucs fans have already said on social media.
That's what I'm more concerned about.
Why are you more concerned about that one?
Because I think his cap number is going to be huge.
Really?
If he comes out and has a huge year this year, yeah. That's going to be huge.
Okay. Interesting.
I mean, what do you think? You don't think that can happen?
Well, I mean, again, I think there's a possibility that the reason why you drafted Jalen McMillan in the first place is maybe you turn the page on a Chris Godwin if he's not productive in this offense. But I also go back to this. If they want to keep you, they'll find a way. And if Godwin balls out like I think he could in this new offense, like Cooper Kupp did, that's why I'm so excited about this offense and Liam Cohen. I think they're going to be a lot better than they were last year, simply because of the fact of having Chris Godwin in his natural position. And still, with all that being said, Ed, he was still able to produce 1,000 receiving yards. He was still productive. His touchdowns were down. And a lot of the first halves of last year, you saw Evans and Godwin were not involved in the game plan. I don't expect that to happen. I expect Godwin to go off. I think he's over this injury. I'm already hearing reports. He looks lighter. He looks faster and stronger. To me, I think he's going to earn a contract extension if he balls out. If he doesn't, I still think he's valuable to this team. And I still think they'll find a way. And until Jason Light and that organization disproves my theory about them, again, the sky is falling. They're not going to be able to sign this guy and this guy and this guy. And somehow, some way, Jason Light and his brain trust are able to put their brains together and figure out how to re-sign the players they want to keep. I don't believe it until I see it.
Well, I agree with you. I think it's possible they will get him signed. I'm not saying that it won't happen. I'm just saying that I'm more worried about Godwin because I think he's going to cost more than Tristan Wirfs.
Sure.
So at the end of the day, an all-star wide receiver is going to cost more than even an all-star tackle. So, but I mean, they'll get it done. They'll figure it out.
Okay. All right. What else, Ed?
So what is going to happen with the Rays?
I don't know. I honestly don't. I think it's a big win tonight, but going forward, I mean, they got guys that are going to start hitting, and Jose Siri is one of them, and he showed up. Yandy Diaz is one of them. He started to turn it on. Randy Arozarena has struggled at the plate mightily. He's got to turn it on. They've got to get healthy. You got to stop having injuries. I get it. Injuries are a part of baseball, but they have absolutely been critical to this team, the last couple of years. Not only their pitching staff, but position players. You got to get back Josh Lowe. If you don't have him, you got to depend on the players that are on this team. Brandon Lau, with the triple tonight, that goes a long way. We've seen him in clutch situations, make those big time bits. We know what he can do. We know the potential. We know that he has the power. That's the reason why he's still in this lineup. You got to start pitching better. I get it. You give up one mistake, but you're only scoring 2.5 runs a game, during this, losing stretch or whatever you call it, losing streak. I mean, I know you snap it, but you lost to the A's the other night. In that time period, you're only scoring 2.5 runs. It's got to change. You got to score 4 or 5 runs at least. And if you're going to only score 2 runs, you got to be great defensively and you got to be great with your pitching. So to answer your question, I think eventually they'll figure this out. I tend to be an eternal optimist when it comes to this team, but who knows? Maybe it is the year to say the injuries have caught up with them. They're not able to overcome. The Yankees are too good, but I'm not ready to mail it in yet. It's still a long season. I think they'll be able to put this together and figure it out. And remember, I predicted 95 wins. I may be wrong about that with the way this team has played this year, but again, I'm not ready to mail it in. I'm not ready to rule out this Rays team. What else, buddy?
Yeah, their pitching needs help. They need to get some pitchers.
Yeah, absolutely.
They really do.
Well, they need to get guys healthy, and they need to get guys like Aaron Savali to go out there and give them more than what he's been able to give them. You got to have a Zach Eflin who needs to pitch like he did last year, because again, if you're having struggles of scoring runs, and they have during this, losing stretch, 2.5 runs a game will not get it done. What will get it done, Ed? It's scoring 5 runs or more. If you score 5 runs or more, you're more than likely you're going to win games. You are.
Yeah, but you also need better pitching too. I mean, the pitching has just been horrible.
It all starts
with
some
games. It's been okay,
right?
Been all right, but most of the time it's horrible.
Yeah, well, it's inconsistency, my friend. It's very frustrating to be a Rays fan, but they win tonight, so we'll see if they can take the series. Anything else here on the evolution?
No, I'll go ahead and step off. Let somebody else get on, and if nobody else gets on, I'll call back.
All right, man. Appreciate you as always. Let me give you the Ric Flair. Woo! There we go, Mr. Ed. Thank you very much. I know you don't like me calling you Mr. Ed, but I appreciate the call. You're not a horse here. Let's go out to Thomas. Will Cash be mid-season casualty? I don't see that, Thomas. I don't. You do a great job, by the way, with your podcast there with the Tampa Bay Lightning. We the Thunder. Love it there with Shooter. Great job. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Definitely want to talk Lightning with you as they're about to make some big changes in the offseason. I don't see it happening. I think the manager can only do so much. And I get it. There's a lot of fans out there that are critical because it all goes on the manager. But a manager can't stand at the plate and hit. The manager can't make plays defensively. The managers can only put those players in the positions to win and be successful. Has he done a great job of that this year? I definitely think there's been moments where he's gone with the pitcher too long, or he's taken the pitcher out. We've always talked about Cash and his tendencies. I don't necessarily think it's all on Cash. I think it's on the upper administration making some of those decisions when it comes down to it. Do I see him being axed by mid? No, I do not. I do not see them making a change. That's not Rays baseball. That's not the way this organization works. And I don't know if that's the best move to do in the first place. Remember, Cash just surpassed Joe Madden in history for wins, and you just signed him to a contract extension. So you think they're just going to get rid? I don't think that's the answer. The answer is for your players to start producing, and if they don't, then you make some wholesale changes. Then you trade some players that you don't necessarily want to trade. At the deadline, you become a seller. You start to bring some of these kids up, and you look forward to next year. So great stuff there, Thomas. Thanks a lot for the question.
Oh, yeah.
Want to go out to TikTok as we're live there. Baby Bear says, miss you and Al so much. Miss you too. Thank you very much, Baby Bear, for tuning in. And let's go out to Stammer BFF. He says Britt Baker won't go anywhere because of her husband, but Becky Lynch has her husband in WWE. Exactly. Thank you very much. Let the truth set you free, because who's Becky Lynch's husband? Mr. Seth friggin' Rollins.
Oh, yeah.
So if Becky Lynch is going to go to AEW, or to your point, if Becky Lynch is going to go, well, she's not going to go, because you just said Britt Baker's not going anywhere because her husband's in AEW. Then I would say Roger Shue, the tribal troll,
Acknowledge me.
that Becky Lynch would do the same. She would stay in WWE. We'll see. All right, let's get out to this guy right here. Turnbuckle Talk is in full effect. The bodyguard of the Berg, RW Media's own Mr. Ralph Williams. Welcome back to the evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. It has been a long time. How have you been? We missed you here on the sports web. What's going on tonight?
I'm doing well, Peter. Thank you, and it's great to be back. I'm no longer on Beaver County Radio. Sometime you and I privately will talk about that. I'm not going to talk about it here. So,
well, it's okay, and one door closes and the other is open.
Yes, it does.
I mean, that's what it comes down to, my friend. Hang in there. You always got a place on the evolution of Sports Talk Television when it comes
Thank you.
to Turnbuckle Talk. I don't know if were we able to discuss WrestleMania 40? Were we able to discuss that?
No, the last time that we talked, I don't think we did WrestleMania 40.
Well, let's talk about it. Your thoughts on WrestleMania 40, where I basically told you that Cody Rhodes would finish his story. He was able to do that.
Yes, he did.
You had The Rock, the final boss. Just give me your general thoughts of WrestleMania 40 before we start talking about this week's news and WWE and AEW.
It was a great showcase, Peter. I thought they put on a great show. WWE lately, with some of their pay-per-views, have been doing a really good job. Triple H, Paul Levesque has been doing a super job of putting together matches and doing some things. The only thing that I'm very unhappy with WWE right now about is Logan Paul. TKO, when they took over, said they don't want no part-time champions, and he happens to be one. I thought Nick Aldis was going to come into SmackDown, crack the whip. He's cracking it on certain people, but not Logan Paul. And, finally Logan Paul gets a loss, and I'm glad for that because, he jimmied around with that contract. But I thought that overall, WrestleMania 40 was a great spectacular. It always is. And I thought this year's was good. Cody Rhodes completed his story. And now let's see where he goes.
What did you think about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, the final boss, coming back in the fold? Because I thought it was must-see TV, especially with the brutal beatdown 2 weeks before WrestleMania in Chicago, where he beats the hell out of Cody. And I talked to Titus O'Neil this week, and I'll have to play that interview, where he even said, that played up to it, that it was pure cinema. Did you feel the same way about that?
Pretty much. The Rock is an actor, of course. And he's very good at acting. He did a really super job on the microphone, as he always does. And I thought that the storyline of this was just phenomenal. I mean, it led right into WrestleMania, and then the first match, you knew they were gonna win and put Cody into that position. And it's great that Cody made it through all that. And I knew he was going to, as you said, complete his story. It's now Roman Reigns goes off into the sunset. Rock goes off into the sunset, but. Like The Rock, the final boss said, I will be back. So I'd like to see that Rock and Cody. That'd be a great match.
I think that's going to happen at SummerSlam. What do you think was given? Because it looked like the reports are that it was the Rolex watch, because supposedly during that weekend, Cody gave Rolex watches to not only The Rock, Roman Reigns, but also Seth Rollins. So is that what you thought? Do you think that's what The Rock, the final boss, gave back to Cody, was that Rolex watch?
I think so. Yeah,
okay.
He did. Yeah, he gave it back to him. It's going to be an interesting scenario. SummerSlam's going to be really good, Peter, if they put together that kind of match and bring him back for SummerSlam. And don't forget, you got Gunther. He just won a number one contender. He's the king of the ring currently, depending on what happens in the next pay-per-view or whatever. Because I'm hearing now Randy Orton's going to get a rematch with Gunther because of the referee boo-boo there in that last match for the King of the Ring pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So
No, you're
don't
absolutely
count
correct.
Gunther out. I'm telling you, don't count him out. And you know, I've got some respect for that man now after what I've seen him do.
Well, he's been amazing.
Yes, he has.
He's been very good. He's very good in the ring. His gimmick is great. He's good on the mic. I mean, he's definitely earned that. And I think if you put the championship on anybody, it's either going to be him or eventually it's going to be CM Punk, which is what you're setting up to be there with the Clash at the Castle with Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. And of course, this stemmed from WrestleMania 40 because Drew McIntyre beat Seth Rollins, as was to be expected, to become the new champion there, the new world heavyweight champion of Raw. And then all of a sudden, you know, he's talking trash to CM Punk.
Oh, that was so funny, Peter. I laughed my butt off, and I'm sure you did too. Because CM Punk just come out right off and just clotheslined him and beat him up. And then Damian Priest comes out. And I got to give Damian Priest credit too, Peter. He is becoming better with the mic skills. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
I mean, he's come out and he said it right to Drew McIntyre, and he said it to Gunther, and I mean, he's coming out telling it like it is, and I love it. And his mic skills are getting way better.
Yeah, his mic skills are getting way better. I think Drew McIntyre is a better heel. He's also been good on the mic. And take my money at this point, Ralph, because anytime you have Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, whether it's a wrestling match or on the mic, it's must-see TV. Yes. I know you're not necessarily the biggest fan of CM Punk, but
I like CM Punk.
Okay,
I always have. Yeah.
So do you like him in WWE? Do you like how they featured him?
Yes.
He gets hurt in the Royal Rumble there in St. Pete. Is there
right? You know, you were talking with Roger earlier about some of these free agents, Peter. WWE is really going to be phenomenal. You know, AEW stacked up some of these guys, but they didn't know how to put them together creatively. Okay, and that's why they're all getting out. Yeah. You know, and I got to tell you, some of these free agents, like you said, Ricky Starks, some of these other guys, WWE's really, signing these guys just like a football team. You know, they're signing free agents and doing the best they can to make a better product. And I tell you what, WWE's product is going to be even way better. And AEW better be careful, because if WWE scoops up all these people, and I just found out something very interesting about Tony Khan. Do you notice his father's now involved? I heard his family is very upset with him because every year since AEW's been around, they've lost a lot of money. The first year they lost $50 million, and they've lost money ever since, and they're hemorrhaging. And right now, their family's involved, because don't forget, they're paying for renovations for the stadium where the Jacksonville Jaguars play. All right. So, with those renovation costs and all the other stuff going on, Tony Khan, they're watching his money now, and the father is involved. So, I mean, Tony Khan for the first time had to release some guys there, Peter, and some wrestlers. So, I mean, that's starting to become a product that might start going down the toilet a little bit. And if they lose the contract with TBS and TNT, they're really in trouble.
Well, it already has, but I don't think they're going to lose that contract simply because the NBA now. I mean, the NBA it looks like it's going to go to, it's going to come off of Turner. It's going to go to NBC, which is going to eliminate the inside the NBA, which could be.
And them having to move their programs around and preempt stuff. I understand. You know what I mean? AEW, So
I would think they would definitely have a deal now. Is it going to be the deal that the Cons want? Most likely it's not. Yeah. But, the ratings show that it's not good. I mean,
no, not at all. The ratings are horrible.
AEW knows how to put on a pay-per-view. That's never been.
Their pay-per-views, man. Did you see all those matches on the Double or Nothing? Yep. That was Double, their first one that I watched. I watched their very first one, and I tell you what, they didn't have that many matches, but they had good matches.
Yeah.
The Omega John Moxley match, the two Rhodes brothers fighting each other. I saw that. That was phenomenal. And then when they first came to Pittsburgh, my wife and I went to that event. And I got to meet Cody Rhodes. I got to meet MJF because I'm friends. I used to do security there, and some of my friends let me talk to them. And I got to tell you, it was a great event. But then now it's starting to become a problem because Tony Khan don't know anything about wrestling, and he's not letting his EVPs do their job. He really isn't.
And his EVPs are Matt.
Yeah, I know.
The young Bucs there. Yeah.
Matt Jackson and exactly.
The other guy,
Matt and Nick Jackson.
Matt and Nick, yes. Matthew and Nicholas as their
And
new
Nicholas,
characters.
yeah, exactly.
What did you think about them showing the Jack Perry situation on video? Did that basically validate what CM, because everything that CM Punk said about that situation was correct? Did that help you be on CM Punk's side? Were you more on CM Punk's side? Because Jack definitely started it. They tried to make this character as him being an ultimate heel, being involved with, of course, the Jackson brothers there.
Yeah.
What did you think of them revealing the tape? Because I don't think I don't know why you would do that. I don't know.
I don't either. That was a bad move there. And if you got the Jacksons running this program, look out.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be a good thing. You know, that's like when they used to have the Authority in WWE, and Vince McMahon had his little thing going on. So when you have something like that, and you're not playing your cards right, it can turn out to be a disaster.
It can. You're absolutely right. With the return of Ralph Williams, the bodyguard of the Berg here on Turnbuckle Talk.
By the way, Peter, I wanted to let you know my last radio show that I did on Beaver County Radio, just so happens I interviewed Daniel Polinsky. Now, Daniel Polinsky is the father of Corey Graves, and his son is Sam Adonis, who wrestles in Independence and across the UK and all them places.
Yeah.
So,
awesome.
And it was great to interview him. He just put on a wrestling extravaganza on Butler County, and I'm going to have him on my show again on Tuesday on my Sports Corner show, which we're now back on social media platforms. And now we're on Instagram, and I'm working on getting us on a few other, social media platforms.
There you go, my friend. That's how you work it out. Christopher Cole says, WWE has turned me into a wrestling fan again.
Yes.
I definitely think they've been
it
able
has.
to do that. Let's go back to the pay-per-view on early Saturday there. Randy Orton versus Gunther. Good match there, but
yes, it
very
was
controversial. Again, Gunther beat Orton after nearly 22 minutes of action. It was a good match. I mean, I thought maybe Orton could have beat him. His shoulders weren't down. Again, and then Triple H addressed it. When Orton gets healthier, then they'll have the rematch. What did you think of that? I thought it was interesting, to say the least. I don't necessarily think it takes it away from Gunther, but again, it keeps that rematch alive because it was such a great match with 22 minutes of action. Why not put on a rematch again and see what would happen? I still think the right decision was made with Gunther being the king. What do you say?
Oh, yeah, it was the right decision, Peter, because I think Gunther could be a world champion. If Damian Priest is still the champion by SummerSlam, Gunther's going to be the new champ, I think. Okay? Because I'm going to tell you this right now. He's a good wrestler. And I want to say this. He has improved his game. All right? What he has done is, if you notice, he come up with the half crab. Okay? And then now he's getting into the bell lock. And he's been coming up with some other stuff in his arsenal now, where before he didn't have all that. And let me say this. There have been people that have given him big-time competitive matches that he needed to dig deep. And every time he has to dig deep, he wins his matches. That's what I think about Gunther. And that's why he has my respect now.
Well, and he definitely has my respect as the way he performs in the ring and the way he carries himself and how he's done that the last couple of years here. Now, the queen of the ring is Miss Nia Jax as she defeats Lyra. Bleacher Report says arguably the weakest match of the night given Nia's limited moveset. I mean, that's my problem. I get it. You need a monster. But she's been known to injure, opposing wrestlers before. Right. I get it. She's a part of the bloodline as she's related to The Rock and Roman Reigns and the Usos and everything like that. But is this the right decision that was made to make her the queen of the ring, in your opinion?
I don't think so. I would have loved to have seen Jay Cargill get it, but, she got disqualified. So, but no, I'm not I am a Nia Jax fan if she's fighting Rhea Ripley. Okay, I'm not a Rhea Ripley fan. I don't like her at all. So, that's where I would be a fan. That would be a great match. I'd like to see that.
Right.
And, that could happen if Liv Morgan loses her title or whatever. And, don't forget Nia Jax gets a shot at Liv Morgan. So, I mean, we're going to find out where that goes. But, Nia Jax, I'm not excited about her being queen of the ring. I would rather have somebody else.
and she's going to get that shot at SummerSlam. I
Yes.
still think they keep the title on Liv Morgan because it's already built in. That storyline with Liv and, of course, Ripley and how Liv injured her, and now Liv is kissing Dominic, which, by
Dominic,
the way, did you watch it? Because, by the way, it was not on American television. It was not on USA. In fact,
no,
they didn't show it besides on social media.
It hits social media like everything else does, Peter. You know how that is.
Well, that was a mistake by them because actually they were supposed to show it and they overran, and it kind of reminds me of a pay-per-view with WCW a long time back when I believe it was Sting. Was it Sting and Goldberg, or was it DDP and Sting? They had an overrun, and nobody saw the end of the match, which is terrible. And the reason
that was bad.
wasn't around back then. I mean, that's the kind of thing that will just kill your sponsorships and kill your wrestling fans overall. I mean, how can you do that? And it goes back to this situation. What do you make of this situation? Because you look at Saturday, it looked like Dominic wasn't trying to throw her the belt. He was actually trying to throw it to Becky Lynch. And then, of course, it's used as a weapon by Liv as she defeats Becky Lynch. What did you make of that whole situation?
Well, Dom was sent out there to stop Liv Morgan from winning the title. That was exactly his job. And he has messed it up twice. And, the interesting thing here is, Peter, don't forget that cage match. Braun Strowman was the one that he did this little run around the ring, and he bangs the cage into Becky Lynch the door of the cage, and she goes over. If that didn't happen, I think Becky Lynch might have won that match because she could have got out of the cage. And then all of a sudden, here comes the cage door because Braun Strowman come whipping by, and then Dominic was in the way. And I mean, it's just like, I think the Judgment Day is going to break up. They're messing too many things up. Damian Priest wants to do his own thing. I think Rhea Ripley does. Dom wants to go in with Pablo Escobar and all them guys. So I think sooner or later that faction's going to break up. I really believe that.
I think so too, and I think you could see that a mile away when Rhea Ripley was the one that's basically the leader of it. She's keeping them all together. They're basically at each other's throats, and then on top of it, they're jealous of what Priest has been able to do now.
Absolutely.
And there's no need for the group. What's the need for the group in the first place? To get guys over, to get women over like Ripley and, of course, Priest. Now, Bully Ray had this to say about the situation with Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio on, I'm trying to think here what Busted Open Radio. He said it's a soap opera. The story is unfolding. All I know is Liv Morgan went in for that kiss. She grabbed it. Dominic looked pissed off, and Liv looked extremely happy as if she got what she wanted. Moments before the kiss, Mysterio had inadvertently helped Morgan retain her title against Becky Lynch in a steel cage match. Morgan's motivations for getting involved with the Judgment Day seemed clear before Rhea Ripley's injury last month. She and Morgan were in the beginning stage of a feud, which seems primed to continue upon Ripley's eventual return. He said there's more story to be told with Liv slowly luring Dom, and then there is with Dom just turning and going with Liv. Then you're asking yourself, why? Why did he just turn his back on Mommy? What happened to their relationship? Why did he just jump into Liv's corner with this, like this right there? You saw the disgust on Dom's face. Bully believes Morgan slowly luring Mysterio to her side makes her more compelling television. When Ripley returns down the line, then the already intense storyline will have even more fuel behind it. And 3 million views for the kiss, I guess, heard around the world between Liv Morgan, who did go in for it. Dom didn't look like he was struggling very much.
I love it, though. You know what? Because I love it when Michael Cole calls him a degenerate or whatever. It's so funny. Yes. And then I like when Pat McAfee makes his comments. It's so them two together are so good. And Dom, Dom, Dirty Dom, that character's starting to get a little old. But I know that he, if he goes in with Pablo Escobar, he might, maybe change some things around in his character. But that whole spoo there of her kissing Dom just to piss Rhea Ripley off. And let me tell you something. Rhea Ripley's going to be a buzzsaw when she comes back because she's not a happy camper.
No, she's definitely not a happy camper because he was.
And if I'm somebody in that women's division here on Raw, I'd be running for cover. I really would, because that woman's going to be really upset.
She is going to be absolutely upset. Becky Lynch still has not signed a new deal with WWE, says Fightful Select, and her contract expires this coming weekend. So what do we make of that? Because that's the reason why you don't put the belt. A lot of people said, well, you put the belt on Becky, but if you don't put the belt on Becky, then you feel like she's going to move on. Have we seen the last days of Lynch and WWE, or is this much to do about nothing? And once again, just contract negotiations. Could Becky Lynch go to AEW? Is that a smart business move by her, or do you think eventually Triple H and company get that deal done with Lynch and she stays in WWE?
Lynch made a statement on a show, on a podcast. She said that her book is selling pretty well. My wife has her book, and so her book is selling really well. And so she said she wants to do at least one, maybe 2 more years, and she wants to retire. So far Seth Rollins is out of the picture right now. He's recovering from a whole heap of injuries. Who knows when he's coming back, because he's got that back problem. He's got some knee issues and some other issues. So he needs to get himself back together, and maybe taking some time off is always refreshing, Peter. Maybe go climb a mountain or go to a beach or something and soak up some of the sand air like you do down in Florida there. And, do something, other than Iowa. Iowa's got a lot of good places you can go there because they live in Iowa. So, so we'll see, take a break sometimes, recharge the battery, maybe a change of pace and new atmosphere. But I don't think Becky Lynch or Seth Rollins going anywhere.
Yeah, her character is just I don't know. It just needs an update. There needs to be
it needs a refresher.
It's stale.
It's stale. Yeah. Exactly.
All right, let's go out to the phone lines here on Turnbuckle Talk on the Sports Web. What's your name? Where you calling from? You're on the Evolution with yours truly, along with the bodyguard of the Berg, Mr. Ralph Williams.
Hey, it's Frankie from Wisconsin. You can call me the Heel Mark. What's up?
What's going on, Heel Mark? Welcome to Turnbuckle Talk. Your thoughts on what's going on right now in WWE, the last pay-per-view there, the Liv Morgan, the kiss heard around the world to Dominic Mysterio. I mean, where do you want to start, Heel Mark? Well, what's up? Welcome to the Evolution.
Oh, man. We're okay. Where do you want me to go? You want me to go with WWE, or you want me to go with what happened most recently, and that's the Jordynne Grace appearance on NXT?
Well, we were going to get to that, but you're exactly right.
Ethan Page, all them guys.
Ethan Page attacking Trick Williams, whooped that Trick. He gave him a knee stomp there in the corner. You had Sexy Red for all you hip-hop heads coming out. She was on there last night with the Rock Starter and again, Trick Williams. And then, of course, you had Jordynne Grace, who made an appearance at the Royal Rumble in St. Pete, now coming over from TNA. There could be some cross pollination. Leo Ward.
The exact deals of that contract.
Okay.
The exact deals of the contract are she has 3 appearances, and that includes the Las Vegas pay-per-view.
Okay.
The match that's happening tomorrow night, or next week, I mean, and the appearance that happened last night.
So it's Jordynne Grace. See, and I think there's going to be more. Go ahead.
But this basically opens the door. Now, what a lot of people, from what I'm hearing, now I don't want to hog the spotlight from you. This is your show, but dude, I'm a wrestling fanatic. You know this, man.
Okay, I know. I get you.
A lot of people don't. You're going to get a lot of sides on the spectrum on this, and this is my outtake. TNA is a big brand, right? But it also sunk ship. But the pandemic kept TNA afloat.
Correct.
Because what TNA has is talent, but people were watching TNA because what is everybody else doing? The same thing, except no audience. And TNA can do it just as good as everybody else with no audience. So after the pandemic, when people were actually going to shows, people were actually going to Impact and TNA shows. So this Jordan Grace crossover from the Royal Rumble into the NXT, this is going to put spotlight on Jordan Grace going into TNA. So more people are going to be paying attention to TNA. Is there bigger stars in TNA? There's a lot more stars in TNA. There's a hell of a lot more stars in TNA than just Jordan Grace. I'm a huge Jordan Grace fan.
Well,
and
of course, Jordan Grace training with Scott Steiner and, of course, playing the same music and being buff and being, just physically.
Also, guys, TNA's got the Nemeth brothers now. They got Matt Hardy. They got a lot of guys that are Mustafa Ali is the X Division champion there. So they have a lot of guys from the WWE and AEW that go over there, and their PCO, is still there. So Moose is still putting on a show. Eddie Edwards is still putting on a show there.
Came back.
Yeah, listen,
exactly. So Steve Macklin. You got a lot of guys that are still there, and they put on a pretty good show now. Their pay-per-views have been pretty decent. The cards have been nice. So we'll see where they go.
Great network that just came out. That's another thing I want to say. If TNA Impact has a network and WWE has a network, why doesn't AEW?
Well, they have a network. It's Warner. They're just trying to negotiate the deal.
I'm talking like WWE Network. You can go and watch WWE shows. You can watch past pay-per-views, and you can stream every premium live event.
Yeah, I just don't think they're there yet. They're a new entity. They're trying
Impact TNA after what's her face had it and ran it down a toilet. Anthem Sports has done an excellent job of trying to invent that brand and reinvent that whole thing and bring it back. And we'll see where it's going really well. They're on Access TV and they're still doing well. I'd like to see them get on something like a CW or something where you can watch if you ever. No, I know.
CW is at NXT starting.
NXT, and then NWA dropped the ball there because of some stupid stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll see, how it goes.
NWA Power is actually on the app, but CW have an NXT. But you're exactly right, and TNA is, they're open, and I think WWE and Triple H is open to, again, the cross pollination, if you will, crossover between those two entities, and that's a good thing because there are some good wrestlers there, and there are some familiar wrestlers where you have some dream matches coming to fruition, if you will, in the future. What else, Frankie?
Well, then I believe it was, where were we going first? You were talking about the Becky Lynch thing.
Well, yeah, Becky Lynch. What do you do?
The Becky Lynch thing. This is what I'm going to say about that. This is all the rumors that I have heard.
Okay.
Because one of my good friends, I'm going to give a shout out to Ross because I know he's listening.
Okay. What's up, Ross?
Squared Circle Society. Anywho, he's a huge Becky Lynch fan, so I do a lot of research for him, looking in for stuff. But everything that I have seen had said she doesn't plan on going anywhere as far as leaving WWE or even going to AEW. Right now, her main focus is on her daughter, and on Seth Rollins and him recovering from his injury. She's never really taken a break from wrestling. The only break she ever taken from wrestling was when she was giving birth to her daughter.
It's true.
That's the only break that she's ever taken. She's been a workhorse, and she's been a staple in wrestling for gosh knows how long.
Yeah.
She deserves a break. Let's let her relax.
Oh yeah, she does, Frankie. She deserves a break, and she has to take care of her daughter. Yeah, absolutely, I agree with you. One thing in this world today that you have to understand, and I had to learn this over the last month or so, is you got to look out for your family. You got to look out for number one, and number one is her family right now. And and I agree with you, Frankie. She needs to take some time off.
Frankie, go ahead, Frankie. Go ahead and finish up here.
And if Becky does go to AEW like Mercedes Moné did for the money, because let's face it, the only reason she went there is because Tony Khan has the money to pay everybody.
Yeah, and it hasn't necessarily worked out, even though she's a champion. Again, the ratings show
she got
that
the championship how quick?
Well, but it hasn't worked out with ratings wise because
I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, she doesn't AEW doesn't need Mercedes Moné. They didn't really need her.
Right.
They were doing fine without her, but they could really use to keep her away from WWE, which is what I think they were trying to do.
Right. Well, because there was talk of, but Monet wanted big time money that Triple H and crew weren't able to pay. Frankie, thanks a lot for the call. Use that second call if you like to, my friend. Okay.
All right, man. Take care, man.
All right, the Hill
Have
Mark.
a good one, Frankie.
He'll be calling back. I know he will. Let's go out to NXT. Did you watch NXT last night? Were you interested in it? Because I got to tell you, I'm not really. I don't really watch NXT.
No, neither do I. But I followed it. I used to follow it when Braun Breaker was on there.
Right.
And now he's up to the main thing. Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
I heard he's coming back up, or he's already up.
Yeah.
And those two teamed up in the Dusty Rhodes Classic.
Yes.
And they were NXT Tag Team Champions there for a little while. So, those guys, Apollo Crews when he was on there, Ricochet was there a few times, here and there. I like when they blend in some of those folks. That picks it up. Trick Williams is as the champ is okay, I guess. But anyway, they usually have somebody way better than him as the champ. And Carmelo Hayes moving up. That took a little bit out of it. That Dragunov or whatever his name is there, he's up in SmackDown or Raw or whatever. So a lot of key people have left NXT. But if they brought in Ethan Page and Ricky Starks, and if they sign all them guys and bring them in and start them in NXT is going to be great. The ratings will go up.
Yeah, and I would expect them to do that. And I think guys like a Ricky Starks would start out in NXT, which would be a good thing. Because
I heard the chairman's coming back, possibly too. So I mean,
Shawn Michaels,
Ty Dillinger.
Yeah, right.
So.
Yeah. Again, Shawn Michaels running it there. You had Sexy Red that came out. Again, the report. What did you think of Sexy Red and her appearance? Did you watch it last night? Did you see the?
No, I really didn't watch it. Like I said, I don't really watch it all that often unless I hear of a good match. Like Becky Lynch was there, and she was NXT Women's Champion.
Boy was Shawn Michaels, and it was pretty funny. According to reports, there, Sexy Red, who appeared on the show, will be the host of NXT Battleground. Was praised by sources in NXT and was said to be easy to work with. She's expected to make some appearances on NXT TV after her Battleground gig. One source compared her presence moving forward as similar to Poppy, who has made a number of appearances on NXT previously. So there you go. And of course, the storyline there with Trick Williams and his real life girl.
Oh, you know who I forgot to mention in TNA? Top Dollar. I forgot to mention it. Yeah, he's going by his real name. So, but
yeah,
Dollar.
It didn't work out there in WWE at all. It did not work out. So
Top Dollar.
Ethan Page coming out attacking Trick Williams. I've always liked Ethan. So
I have. Yes. Good mic skills. Another guy who and can rouse up trouble.
Right.
So.
The report is that they'll not only be pursuing Ricky Starks, but also a Hook, and again, a Britt Baker.
That would be nice if Britt Baker. You know what that would do to the women's division now? And then if Charlotte Flair comes back, oh my gosh,
wow,
we'd have an awesome women's division all across the board.
Out of those three, besides Ricky Starks, Hook, who is Taz's son, who's talented, but still needs some help on the mic and stuff like that. Right. And then you got Britt Baker. I mean, which one out of those three, would you be most excited about? Would it be Starks? Would it be Hook? Or would it be Baker?
I think Starks, because he's friends with CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, and he's got that connection. And I think he would be good. He was good in AEW, especially when he was teamed up with Big Bill. That was the thing that really got him going a little bit. And it was nice to see him do that. And now he's, if he comes to the WWE, if he signs, and he would be great on NXT. Oh my gosh, he would be super great on there. I would love to see him there. That again, that would bring NXT's rating sky high. And now that they're going to be going on to CW, that's going to be great.
It will be, because CW Sports is a real thing. I want to go out to the Instagram live here. Zach Mitchell, buddy here. I met some nice ladies who work with the Rays. Can get them to hook us up with some tickets. That sounds good, brother. Appreciate that. Let's go out to the Hill Mark again. This is an absolute crime that you do not watch NXT. He also said Javon Evans and Dante Chen, 2 future studs in NXT. Hook will never leave. And I would say never say never. Even if his daddy's here, the ultimate dream for a lot of these young wrestlers is to work in WWE.
Right. Yeah, that's everybody's dream. It was sad that Sting didn't really do a lot in WWE. It was nice that AJ Styles got his dream to be a WWE. People can get there. Cody Rhodes is there now. He resurrected himself and came back. A lot of guys, you might even see Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemitz, and his brother come back to WWE. You always can go somewhere else to resurrect your career. Look, I got off of Beaver County Radio. Beaver County Radio thinks I'm going down the toilet. Well, you know what? I'm back on social media. Sports Corner Radio or Sports Corner stronger than ever, and I'm going back on TV. So, these guys that go to these other wrestling, go to the independents, go resurrect their career that way and come back. Look at Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona, when he was in the WWE, the Long Island IC, that kind of thing and everything else. But now look at what he's doing. He's winning titles all across the world, and he's everywhere. And he's staying away from the WWE because he has that freedom now.
Yeah. I want to go out to Alex here. Thomas Schooley, go back to hockey. Come on now, Alex. He had a question about it. There's a lot of questions out there, social media. I know that you love the Rays, but there's a lot of people asking about Kevin Cash, and if this team doesn't improve, we'll see. I don't think it happens, but it's a good question.
Right.
Alex, come on. Don't be so hard on the webheads out there. Let's go out to AEW. MJF, of course, comes back. Adam Cole is in the ring. MJF surprises everybody. By the way, what did you notice about when MJF came out the other night? What did he have on from the past there that you got?
He had a leather jacket on. I mean,
Yes.
He had some kind of different coat. He used
From
to wear
where?
that scarf.
From where?
Oh, gosh. I can't even remember off the top of my head right now.
I can. 2002, Triple H returning to Madison Square Garden. Same jacket.
Oh, that jacket. Okay, yeah, I get you.
Same
Yeah,
jacket.
yeah, but he had a different jacket on. He didn't have the scarf like he normally does. And, he's serious about this now and, and everything else. And it's good to see him back because AEW needs some help with that, getting him back and everything else.
He was hurt with the shoulder. He could have taken some time off, so they're not really sure at this point, but he comes back, of course.
It was nice for the pay-per-view for people to see him come back, and it was beautiful. It was nice. I met him personally, like I told you, and he's a very great guy. And then he played a good heel when he was a heel, and and then he played that babyface role before he got hurt and went off into the sunset for a little while. But I'm glad he's back. If he would have went to the WWE, oh my gosh, they would have really been super duper. And Tony Khan would have been. I think Tony Khan would have been. Crapping himself or something.
Ball game set match point would have been over with because you lose MJF, you're basically out of business. He's the best thing that you got going. Period. The Hill
AEW needed to re-sign him. Peter, he's the man. He's carried them for a long time. The Jacksons and Kenny Omega needs to come back as soon as he gets back. He's really been injured, and then he got beat up again. So I mean, so we'll see what's going on with him.
All right, the man's using his second call here. The Hill Mark, Mr. Frankie from Wisconsin. Welcome to Turnbuckle Talk. What's on your mind?
First off, I am a freshman at Learning Tree University.
Are you the learning tree for Chris Jericho, I assume, right?
Chris Jericho is absolutely brilliant. Like anything that man touches turns to platinum.
His wrestling isn't as good as it used to be, though, right?
Oh,
No.
You would admit
gosh,
that.
he's
Okay.
what, like 67 years old
He's
now?
not.
No.
Oh, stop. He's
No,
not that old.
He's 50. He's 52, I
He's
think.
52.
51 or 52, yeah.
I mean, come on. But for his age, doing what he's doing, come on, give him some credit.
Pretty.
Yeah, oh, yeah. And
Absolutely.
still singing for Fosse
Anything
and,
that
you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anything that man touches is just, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he plays. His
AEW
character role is great. I mean, he's good with the mic, and now he's got Big Bill in the learning tree, and he's got this other guy that's just come on tonight, and you know, so I think he always builds a good faction, you know, like he did before. So you know,
Yeah.
I like what he's working with Big Bill.
oh yes,
Because
yeah,
when Big Bill or Colin Cassidy, whatever you want to call him, when he was in WWE NXT, Enzo was doing all of the mic work.
Correct. And he was good. And he was good at it.
And that's all Enzo can do. And Cass just kind of just did all the ring work.
Mm-hmm.
And Enzo just got flashy. And now that Jericho is working with Bill, I'm like, I love it.
Well, you know what the problem
Absolutely.
with AEW is, though, week by week, and you can even attest to this, and Ralph, you can talk about this. There is never storyline. There's never any long-term storytelling. It's all about wrestling. I get that, but you cannot run a wrestling promotion without storytelling. And it has I mean,
I'm going to say something that's probably going to upset a lot of the wrestling marks out there in the world.
That's okay, Hill.
Tony Khan is nothing but a huge wrestling mark.
that's it. You're right. I agree with you, Frankie. I've said this many times. He's a wrestling fan, but he don't know how to run a company. He's not like Vince McMahon. He was never in the business.
All of these, he's like wrestlers thinking they're Pokemon, and he's got to catch them all, and he's getting all of this talent, and he's just putting them in there, and it's just like, okay, we got a pay-per-view, and we got 47 matches to get done in 3 hours. Let's get to it. What?
Yeah. No, you're right. You're exactly right.
And by the way, guys, we also have 57 factions and 186 titles. Yeah. What?
Yeah.
And because AEW with their 100
Let me talk to you.
titles,
right?
And all their stupid factions, WWE is now getting so much crap for their doing their NXT Women's North American title. And like, honestly, I think it's a brilliant idea, and I think it's something that should have been done in a long time ago. But people think, flood the market with titles. No, this is getting the mid-card women a chance to hold a title. Something like the Intercontinental title and the U.S. title. Some of those guys never get a chance to hold the WWE or the big gold belt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is the chance for them. But now that, because AEW with their long list of titles, it's just giving WWE so much
It's
slack.
overkill. It's overkill at this point. You don't know who's got what. The titles don't mean much of anything.
They were doing that. Like tonight, they were doing that thing for the vacated TNT title, and I saw Switchblade in there, and I was like, wait a minute, dude, don't you have a title?
Well,
I just saw you tonight with the title. What title does he have?
And that's
what happened to the TNT title? I caught some of it. Did Adam Copeland give it up or what?
Adam Copeland got hurt during his match with Malachi Black.
It looked like a broken leg. That's what it looked like.
Oh wow!
Yeah, something like a torn tibia or something.
Wow, that's a shame that he had to give up his title because
Well,
he's
you
hurt.
can't be doing spots at 50. Now he's 50 years old, but you can't be doing some of the spot. It was great, but you can't do that spot.
If you notice when he wrestles now, Peter and Frankie, do you never notice how he's not? He's another guy like Chris Jericho. He's lost a couple steps. And the older you get, I guess you lose a couple steps. And being out of wrestling for 7 years, his ring his ring rust is still there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but he's
You know.
still so fun to watch.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah, but
I remember watching wrestling when I was 12 years old, and I'm 45. Okay, I
Me too.
remember going back to when I was.
I started when I was 5.
Hulk Hogan would tear off his red and yellow shirt and wave his hand to his ear to the crowd, and I would do the same damn thing, getting freaked out when I was 10. I still get excited and mark out like crazy at 45. I love wrestling. And
You know something, Frankie and Peter, I'm going to tell you this. Everybody you talk to that doesn't like wrestling right now, and Peter has had some people on the show here with us, and they all say it was that era that they watched. That was that era that they liked. It was that era that made them a wrestling fan. Now they don't watch it anymore because they think it's just nothing but entertainment. It's not what it used to be. And that's true. Nothing will ever be what it used to be. But that was the era when you talk to people who don't like wrestling. I have a wrestling show on my Sports Corner podcast. I'm putting one on TV. And right now, there are people out there who say to me, and I quote, I'll go see the independents. I'm not interested in what goes on WWE or anything else. Back in the day, they talk about Hulk Hogan. They talk about Bruno Sammartino. They talk about all that stuff. That is the era of wrestling that was probably one of the best. It's like music. The 80s was, I think, one of the best eras of music. It's the same way with wrestling.
Well, I think it was the late 90s there with the Attitude Era. With
the Attitude Era, too, with Stone Cold against Vince McMahon. That was great.
And then you had the NWO versus DX. Let me tell you, that's
DX,
into wrestling.
Yeah. Right.
For a while, when I was younger, we all went through that period where we thought wrestling was real.
Well, you went through the period of switching back and forth, and I think that's what a lot of people expected. AEW, but AEW is not on Monday nights; they're on Wednesday nights, and they're still struggling when it comes to the ratings.
I'm older than
AEW. In fact, guys, they're going to smaller venues. They're doing like TNA and NXT. They're going to smaller venues because they're not selling out the bigger venues.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
When they come here, they don't use PPG Paints Arena. They use the Peterson Event Center up at Pitt. When they come here. So, they're going to smaller cities, smaller facilities. That's what they're doing now. In Chicago, they're going to that facility where ECW was at, or the smaller places. Yeah. Because they're not drawing.
I miss ECW, man.
Yeah,
everybody misses ECW.
We all miss
the real ECW,
the real
not
ECW,
the one Vince McMahon had.
Yeah, not the one.
Not that Vince McMahon watered down ECW that we got.
Yes. All right, Frankie.
But you know what they did give us though? That watered down ECW, it gave us CM Punk.
There you go.
Yeah. And Bobby Lashley was the champion.
Right. Well, I got to ask you this before we let you go. How much are you looking forward to having CM Punk back versus Drew McIntyre? I mean, is that must-see TV for them going back and forth when it comes to the mics and promos and then the wrestling match itself?
I can tell you like this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you guys are probably going to laugh and agree with me.
Sure.
This is how I honestly feel about it right now. It's like that ever so clever scene from and now I just lost the train of thought of the movie with the golfer, the golfing movie with the golfer.
Caddyshack.
Yes.
Where the dude's like, well, we're waiting.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was Ted Knight. Yeah, Ted Knight.
Judge Smails. Yes.
And teasing me.
Yes.
And teasing me.
Yes.
Dude, I lost interest. It's like the Wyatt 6 thing. It's like, dude, you've been teasing me since WrestleMania 40.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
Well, listen, everything is done by design, my friend. Hang in there because eventually you will have a Wyatt 6 and you're also will have
the
CM Punk.
McIntyre CM Punk. It's like, dude, I want it. Give it to, and then at the same time, it's like when it happens, are we going to have it for a title, or is it just going to be for the memes that?
Well, if Drew wins the title against Damian Priest at this next pay-per-view, you could see that.
Yes, but then Gunther's going to win it at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. They got something to
see. WWE keeps you on your seat.
Yes.
They keep you, they keep you guessing, and that's a good thing.
What now, Frank?
Like, how could you not put that title on Gunther?
I think eventually
I
you
said
will.
that earlier. Yes.
I still think you also could put the title on CM Punk, and you put the title on Drew and have CM Punk win, and then maybe you go into WrestleMania with Gunther
a match I would
versus
rather see is CM Punk versus Cody.
That's possible. That's
That
definitely,
match happened in AEW. It can happen again.
Cody.
yeah.
That would actually be a real wrestling match where Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk, I think, would be almost like a street fight. You know what I mean?
You're
Drew McIntyre.
You're getting ahead of yourself at this point because you still have the final boss versus Cody, and then of course you had Cody versus Logan
Don't
Paul.
you think with the last member that they have signed, Jacob Fatu, that
Well,
they're gonna eventually do something with having a war games with the blood?
it's gonna be a civil war, and I'll tell you who it's gonna be. It's gonna be the Usos and Roman Reigns versus the current bloodline right now.
Yeah, I
completely agree.
I see that for Survivor Series.
And Jacob then.
Well, because I think The Rock is a part of it. I don't.
Yes,
necessarily.
and The Rock's going to be on Roman Reigns' team, I think.
No, I think he's not going to. I think he's going to be against Roman Reigns.
You think so? Yeah, that could happen.
Jacob you would stick Jacob Fatu with
I heard Rikishi's coming back to manage those guys too.
Yeah, and I also heard that you could have maybe have Seth Rollins join the other bloodline. I don't know.
Yeah, that could happen.
I don't know what they're going to do with it, but that's the reason why we watch it, Frankie. The Hill.
That's why they keep you on your toes, man.
That's it.
They keep you guessing.
We appreciate the calls, my friend. We'll definitely talk more about wrestling next week on Turnbuckle Talk. All right, man. Stay tuned.
All right, man. Later.
All right, later. Good stuff there, man.
All right, Frankie.
He is passionate about it.
Yes, he is.
He is a perfect fit for Turnbuckle Talk here. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with the bodyguard of the Berg, Mr. Ralph Williams. Open phone lines if you want to talk wrestling action, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. We're going to wrap this up. It's been a great segment here. Usually goes about an hour. So many things to get to. MJF, of course, returns. The fans are chanting he's our scumbag. He's our scumbag. He says that he's apologizing to nobody. The crowd responded with chants of holy. He also talked about no more fun and games, no hugs, no kangaroo kicks. We're not doing that anymore. I'm going to live off of hate, screaming to the crowd. And then he sums it up with this, which I absolutely love. He says, when it comes to AEW, you can call me the wolf of wrestling because I'm not effing leaving. And of course, he signed a new deal with AEW, reportedly a long-term, multi-million-dollar per a year. First and foremost, what did you think of the promo? The appearance at the end against Adam Cole, basically disposed of him. Adam Cole was trying to hug him up. He kicked him right in his nuts.
Oh, it was crazy with MJF.
It was perfect, but I thought he would do a little bit more with it because, of course, Adam Cole beat the hell out of him, being revealed as the devil and having the Undisputed Kingdom. And of course, Cole got hurt and MJF got hurt and he went away. And that storyline went to hell. And now it seems like it's not coming back. So the right thing to do, what did you think about MJF and his appearance at the pay-per-view on Sunday?
Well, I liked his appearance. I'm glad he's back. And you know what? Adam Cole looks like a lost soul swimming in a fishbowl, like Pink Floyd said. That's, to me, what it looks like with Adam Cole. And, Adam Cole is still injured. He has that ankle problem. He's not cleared to wrestle. Until then, I think MJF coming back, and I don't think he will be cleared to wrestle until Adam Cole is, and then they're going to make that match.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
All right, so let's go on more about MJF, the site, which would be Fightful Select. There are significant creative plans in place for MJF to have a high-profile feud now that he's back. A big feud had been planned last year between MJF and Adam Cole, but as of this spring, that is not imminent due to Cole's injury. We talked about that not happening. Those in Fightful spoke to weren't sure about MJF and his own injury status during his time away from AEW. He apparently told some people that he didn't get shoulder surgery and only wore a brace to make people think his return was farther off. Also at the Double or Nothing media scrum, which we know now that the title has been vacant, Adam Copeland, of course, Edge, being checked out for injuries after Gangrel. Gangrel came out with the Brood under the ring, which is amazing in itself. Beat the hell out of the House of Black, Malachi Black, which, by the way, they did a hell of a job with that match. I want to see that again. Gangrel.
Yeah, I would like to see that as well. I really would.
Copeland, who was limping to the back following the barbed wire steel cage match. Brian Alvarez says Copeland was hurt on the cage dive, but he doesn't know the severity of that yet. And we do know the severity of that. So wrap it up right there, man. Your final thoughts here on Turnbuckle Talk and the evolution of sports talk television.
2 great pay-per-views this weekend, Peter. I never saw something like this before. I didn't buy the pay-per-view for AEW, but I've been watching stuff on YouTube because I refuse to pay $50 when I can watch WWE for free on Peacock. So, right. I mean, yes. And anyway, and, my Peacock membership's included in my cable bill. So, and I also have Netflix in case Raw goes to Netflix, and I have, Paramount Plus and all that other stuff. But anyway, it was great to see those 2 pay-per-views back to back. It was a super thing to have, and it made Memorial Day weekend great, other than, UFL football and some other, and baseball.
Good stuff, my friend. I'm glad to have you back. It's good to have you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. It's good to be back, man. It really
Absolutely, is. My friend. We'll see you next week here on Turnbuckle Talk, all right?
See you later. Say hello to Alexander for me and your mom, So, all right.
Will do, my friend. Hang in there. Continue to do what you do, because that's what we do here on the evolution of sports talk television. I want to go out to this comment, and then we will wrap it up for the night here. The Hill Mark, MJF for president. He also says, you're 100% right, Peter. I love wrestling more than anything, and I would give that match a 9 out of 10. So thanks a lot for all the wrestling fans tuning in to Turnbuckle Talk. We'll have it next week about 10:20, 10:30 here. Can always call in twice. Talk WWE action, AEW, TNA, whatever is on the docket that night. We'll definitely talk about it. And of course, just to give you an update once again, your Tampa Bay Rays win with 2 great plays here. Jose Siri with the defensive play of the year was saving a home run there. You got to watch it in left center field, going up there, taking the ball away, Kevin Kiermaier and then comes up in the bottom of the ninth and does what? Gets the winning hit as the Rays win 4-3 over the Oakland Athletics. That's always good. We talked about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Godwin and that contract situation. Don't fret. Everything is going to be fine. That's my message to you. But we could definitely talk about that and everything else. And oh, by the way, only 99 days, 99 problems, but a show isn't one. 99 days until the NFL season officially starts. We'll be counting them down right here on the Evolution. Like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. Thanks to all the guests tonight. Mr. Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions and Amped Up Sports. The legend himself. Remember, June 16th, we will be at Belmar Saloon. Yours truly, Leo, Roy Cummings, Ira Kaufman, talking sports, eating, having a good time there. Sorry you missed Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, but we had Ralph Williams tonight, the bodyguard of the Berg. And, of course, all your phone calls, all your comments. You guys are the lifeblood. I love you guys here on the Sports Web. You are the webheads. You are the true Tampa Bay sports fans. You are the true wrestling fans that make this show go. So 3 things. You know them. You love them. You got to have them. So here they are. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the Sports Web and the Tampa Bay sports fan, it's your time. We'll see you next time. Bars on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Have a great night.